Right, what's happening, people? Thank you very much for downloading and pressing play on episode 14 of the Over the Hill podcast. Sending a quick shout out to everyone who's been subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you very, very much. Just go over to YouTube and search for the Over the Hill podcast. Episodes 1 to 9 are currently uploaded, full video episodes there. And yeah, episodes 10 to 14 will be coming in the next few days. So once again, thank you very much for everyone who's subscribed so far. Please share it and spread the word. Really great content on there just to be able to sit and actually watch the conversations that we had as opposed to just listen to them, if that's your thing. And some people just prefer to use YouTube as opposed to Spotify and iTunes and stuff. So yeah, great to get the word out. Big shout out to everyone who's been helping so far, and long may it continue. You can also subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, Castbox, Google, TuneIn, wherever you hear the podcast. Also available on Anchor Podcasts as well. Make sure you leave those reviews on iTunes and keep everyone updated with just how bloody brilliant this show is. And yeah, big shout out to everyone who's left the reviews so far. Greatly, greatly welcomed and really appreciated. Right, on to today's episode. I sit down with my good friend, the one and only Raphael Caldeira. We were able to sit down in studio and have a really, really wicked conversation and catch up. Spoke a lot about what Raf's doing in his career currently with debt management and the company he's currently working for, helping people, especially in these post-pandemic times where, you know, a lot of people have probably run up some credit card debts and might need some help. If that sounds like you, it's a good episode to listen to, and Raf's a really good person to get in touch with to talk about that kind of thing. We got into loads of different stuff on this podcast, spoke a lot about issues around racism, sexism, the differences between men and women. It's a bit of a riot, and some dickhead will probably try and cancel us, but it's my podcast, I own it, so you can't fire me. We also had a great conversation about our mutual shared love of the Sopranos and UFC as well. So yeah, really, really fun episode. It's a laugh a minute, this one. Probably my favourite episode so far, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Episode number 14 of the Over the Hill podcast with myself, James Hill, and my special guest, Raphael Caldeira.
You are now listening to the Over the Hill podcast.
But yeah, episode number 14 of the Over the Hill podcast, and second episode I'm actually able to sit down in studio with someone. I've got my friend Raphael Caldeira in the building. Haven't seen him, as he just reminded me, since last summer, since he handed in his security pass at his old workplace. What a way to intro the definition of KMT. Jesus Christ.
I'm still sore about it, bro. I don't know if you can tell with it.
But you know, you're moving and grooving now, man. You're onto a better job, and you know, we did say we wanted to try and talk about your job quickly. At the start of the pod, because it's something, I don't know exactly what you're up to, but I know it's something that a lot of people are probably going to need help with moving forward as we come out of this pandemic.
Yeah,
so
trust me.
First of all, welcome to the pod, and secondly, what is it you got going on now?
All right, basically, since I left our workplace, you know, did a couple of odd jobs here and there. Worked in a warehouse, bro. I'm telling you right now, yeah, and it's for anyone who gets offended by this, I'm sorry, innit, but I am West Indian, innit? Bro, I'm never working with West Indians again, bro. I swear down, bro. I swear down, man. Bro, like, honestly, yeah, you don't have to keep reminding people that, like, you're not their child, innit? You know what I mean, bro? Like, bro, I hear people, like, calling me from across the house, Raphael, come do something for me. All day long, bro. It was horrible, man. But yeah, after that, yeah, I started working for a debt charity, Fair Money Advice. Shout out to everyone there. And basically what I do now, I'm a trainee debt caseworker. So what that involves is doing an interview with clients and stuff like that. They usually get referred by, like, say, for example, Citizen Advice Bureau, Shelter, which is like housing and things like that. You know, if they've usually got debts that are either priority debts or non-priority. Priority means that it's something that has a consequence, like eviction or imprisonment, things like that. And non-priorities is like your credit cards, all that kind of stuff, or whatever. So usually what I'll do, take down a financial statement for them, verify everything, and then speak to their creditors and try and negotiate like something to be worked out.
Some sort of like payment package, like £10 a month, something like that. Yeah.
Or even, bruv, like, before I worked this job, yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you, bruv, like, I feel like I'm back at uni at this job, innit? I've done bare studying, man. Do you know what I mean? So much stuff I got to know. But what I found out about this job, yeah, is that, which I think that most people don't know, that is there's a lot of ways you can actually get around debt. Like, debts can be written off. Do you know what I mean? You can be written off. for mental health reasons.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And mental health is a real thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's things like called moratoriums, which are basically breathing space. You can get like informal ones where your advisor could potentially call up your creditor and say, look, my man's got this going on. You know, can you give him 3 months while he works with us so we can maximize his income, etc., etc. Depends on the creditor whether they accept it or not. Do you know what I mean? But then you've also got formal ones where, you know, it's literally written down, insolvency government kind of thing.
Yep.
Where, you know, they can't contact you for 2 months and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just a standard one, sometimes a mental health one.
Yeah.
But either way, things like this can be done. And the thing is as well, bro, like I've realised, is that it's not a sexy conversation to have, but people don't really talk about their finances. You know what I mean? Like, bro,
it's one of them things where on social media, it's a running joke on Twitter. Everyone on Twitter earns 100 racks.
Yeah.
Everyone's got money. Everyone's got the conversations I've been having recently have been mad. Like, it's funny because this crypto thing has all blown up. And this week, I ain't gonna lie, I lost some P, bro.
But everyone's losing P on that.
But the thing is, it's one of them ones where you've got people on Twitter who've put, bro, I'm talking, I put £150 in a crypto thing. I'm completely honest about what sort of money I have and don't have, Like, I thought, fuck it, £150 is an amount that if I lost it, I would be pissed, but I'm not going to be, like, punching someone up out of anger, do you know what I mean?
You can afford to lose it, basically.
Yeah, like, you know, and that's a privileged thing to say in and of itself, because like we can't really afford to lose it. But if I lose it, it's not the end of the world. So like I put some money in, I've lost some. For me, it will bounce back. But there's people on Twitter that I know have put in less than that or the same amount as that, and they're sitting there talking like they're the fucking Wolf of West Ham. Mate. Like, and they're just like, oh, Ethereum's up today, ha ha ha! I've made loads of money, and now like, bruv, them people ain't tweeted for a week.
That's what
like,
I'm saying, bro.
It's mad when people talk about finances and the shame that comes around it. Like, with just, you know, like, bruv, I earn like the national average or above the national average, slightly below the London average. It's not a big thing to be honest and open about what you've got. The majority of people in this country ain't got fuck all.
That's it,
like,
bruv.
And I think, you know, having them conversations and doing the stuff that you're doing, like, the more people that understand that there's no embarrassment in not being able to cope. Like, you know, we talk about it in life with mental health and stuff. There's no embarrassment with not being able to cope, but also financially, it's a big part of our well-being.
That's what I'm saying, bruv. I mean, like, bruv, I like, and I've noticed it, and I hate using this term, bruv. I hate the term BAME, innit? Like, I didn't know I was a BAME until last year, bruv. You get me?
It's a lazy term, though.
Bruv, I hate it, bruv. But, like, I'm going to use it just as, like, you know, it's just the easiest thing to say right now because it seems to be everyone says it, innit? But like,
it's quicker than saying people of colour.
Yeah. don't get me started and get us cancelled tonight, do you know what I mean? But yeah, like growing up like in that sort of environment where you don't really talk about finances, it's more like your parents do it, you kind of figure it out on the way. All they tell you to do is save, blah, blah, blah. But like, bruv, for example, even in school, bruv, I didn't know nothing about finances. I didn't know nothing about like balancing my finances, or, you know, what debt was, what it wasn't, how it could actually be used as a tool, or it can be used as like, you know, it's going to end your life basically. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know none of this, but it's starting to change now. Do you know what I mean? Social media has been a good thing for that, at least. Yeah. It's starting to change now, and things like the charity that I work for is changing that kind of thing. But bruv, like growing up, bruv, I remember when I was working. When I was in like sixth form and that, innit? I was working like maybe three evenings a week, 4 evenings a week. And I was earning more P than everyone. Do you know what I mean? But I've got nothing to show for it. Nah. I ain't got nothing to show for it, bro. You know what I mean?
It's mad.
Bro, like literally we go to Sainsbury's like on my lunch break and I was like, oh, bro, you want a DVD? Oh, bro, let me buy it for you, innit? Do you know what I mean? Bro, like, getting bare clout and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro, like...
But that's the thing. When you come from a background, like, obviously, like, I'm white, you're mixed race. Yeah. Like, it's a different background, but we're both, and obviously different corners of London, but we're both from ends. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And when you come from that mentality of like, here today, gone tomorrow, like, you know, a lot of people would call it stunting. Like, if you've got a bit of money, you just spend it willy-nilly. Like,
that's it.
It's not just, you know, a lot of people that don't come from families where you've got people in the family that save and stuff. Like, if you're more slightly middle class or like upper working class, you might have more of that about you. Yeah. But for the majority of us, that ain't us.
What's it up, bro? The funny thing is, like for my family, for example, this is why I always get annoyed when people tell me how oppressed I am, because like at the end of the day, like my family tried to do things with the means that they have, smart ways, and they actually did quite well for themselves. You know what I mean? But with my family, like it was a thing where, you know, you save your money. You don't spend frivolously, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I was living in ends where it's like, you spend frivolously.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's weird in a way. But at the same time, because I think that, like, I mean, even with partners, bro, like, you imagine now, yeah, you're dating one Chris gal, innit? And you've promised her the world. You've taken her to like Rocker and Sushi Samba and all these places, but you can't actually afford that.
I'm dating a Chris girl, but we go pub.
Bruv, you got the fucking what's it called? You hit the jackpot, bruv. You know what I mean? Chris girl are happy with that, bruv.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I mean we do things like, you know, we do splurge. Like, you know, our anniversary dinner, for example, we'll go to the Ivy, or, you know, when we went to Budapest, we went to that Michelin star restaurant over there. But that was a Michelin star restaurant in Budapest that cost us £200 for the night, whereas that would cost that per head over here. And don't get me wrong, it's on our to-do list to go to like a Gordon Ramsay restaurant or something like that and spend that kind of money. But that's a once in a while thing. I was watching it's mad. I was watching this show on YouTube, and I think it's fake, but it might not be fake. It's called Blue Therapy, and it's basically a couple of black couples. Right? And one of them was on that back chat, and like, you know, they're just, you know, that kind of crowd. And this one girl was saying, listen, if my man don't take me here, if he's not willing to support me doing this, if he's not willing to, then he's not my man. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, literally, the guy at one point turned around to her. He just got pissed off, and he was like, "What do you bring to the table?"
Bro, this is it.
And she was like, "Do you really want to go there? Do you really?" And it's like, listen, stop asking people to take you places that you would not take yourself.
Yeah.
And if you are taking yourself there, then take yourself like today, for example. My missus is out at like some fancy place having brunch. She takes herself to places with her friends, and then we go and do other things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would never, same as like, if she was to buy me a gift, I would never want her to buy me something that will put her out of pocket for that month. People need to be sensible with money, but there is a certain degree of it that does coming from a background where you have nothing. Sometimes when you have nothing and you get a little bit of something, you do overextend. But obviously in the time that we're living in now, it's a bit mad because so many people have lost jobs or they've used cards to cover debts over this past year and stuff. I mean, I feel very lucky in the sense that I've kept my job. Obviously, I mean, I was working. It's not like I was like on furlough or nothing, but like, you know, I consider myself one of the lucky people. But I'm guessing, remind me the name of your company again?
Fair Money Advice.
Fair Money Advice. I'm guessing you guys have come across already some people that have been struggling, you know, after the COVID situation.
Yeah, trust me, bro, it's been a bit mad still. I mean, like, some of the stories that I hear, like, I'm obviously I can't say exactly, and I can't say names, all that kind of stuff, but like, there's like, bro, it goes from all walks of life, innit? Like, there's been people like recently, like, I had someone who literally had a second yard struggling with debt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously he can't get tenants in, and he lives a certain lifestyle, and then he can't upkeep that lifestyle simply because of the pandemic. So it's like the pandemic's like changed the game for a lot of people. In fact, it's actually been a good thing for some people.
Quite a lot of us, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine you got a working from home job now. You ain't paying, like, bro, I work from home. I'm not paying for transport, bro. That's a whole heap of money that I'm saving.
I had this conversation literally on the last episode, and we were saying that there was one guy I was following on Twitter, and he was paying, I don't know how he was paying £600 a month, but I think like all in travel costs, maybe he was like, maybe he was including like, you know, the coffee on the way and, you know, but I think he was driving to the station. He had to park his car at the station, lives out in Essex somewhere. Then he was getting a train into London. Now there's a guy that works for our old workplace who we used to work with, who moved out to Chelmsford, and he was paying like several grands a year, like £6,000 a year or something. So it's like, this guy was saying £600 a month. Doesn't surprise me that he was paying that much, but he was saying, I've been working from home. I've been saving £600 a month just on travel costs. And
that's what I'm saying, bro. It's a nice chunk of change as well, man. You know what I mean?
Bro, I think, we are living in a weird time that's changed things. But going back to what you were saying, though, about like, you know, a guy who had a second yard and is still, you know, having trouble with debts. What people fail to realise is we live in a society, like, big up the Joker, we live in a society where you are literally, and everyone needs to remember this, unless you're in that top, not even top 5%, because the top 5% is over 80 grand. And there are quite a few people that earn over 80 grand, even people that we would know. But if you're not in that top 3 to 2%, you are literally a couple of bad months away from going under.
That's what I'm saying,
because when you're on that 80 grand a year, your lifestyle will change.
That's it,
and
bro.
you will put money into commitments. You'll buy a Range Rover that you're paying £600-700 a month on because you can afford to pay
exactly,
that.
Bro.
Whereas the rest of us would, you know, buy a car that we're paying £200 a month for example.
Bro, I had one woman, again, I'm not going to say names and stuff like that, but I had one woman that basically she got into debt. She was in debt before she got this hire purchase on a Honda Civic, bro. Honda Civic was about 10 grand, yeah. And the reason she just had a snowball effect of putting herself into more debt simply because she was paying this as well. So now she couldn't pay her rent, she couldn't pay her water, she couldn't pay her utilities, all that kind of stuff. She ended up selling the car anyway, like giving it back to the hire purchase company, but she still has the debt, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's financial education, man. I mean, like, you know, when people like read all the things like, you know, like, oh, rich dad, poor dad, all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. The principles are good and everything, but it's like, it doesn't work for the average person.
Yeah.
They said it to you like it works for the average person, but let's be honest, it don't, innit? You know what I mean? Like, my man, like, borrowed money to go and buy apartment blocks and things like that. Do you know anyone that you can go and like get a quick 60 grand off, bro?
Nah.
You get me? So you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's like whenever you read these articles about, 24 and just bought my first house.
Yeah.
Wait for it. You read the article, you're scrolling down, wait for it. Oh, my parents gave me 30 grand.
There you go.
go.
Of course they did, bro. Of course they did, man.
That's the other thing people have to do as well. When it comes to like, you know, you can sit there and give people advice once they're in debt, but I can sit there and say, like, I've never been in debt. Do you know what I mean? I can sit there and safely say to you, live within your fucking means.
That's it, man.
There's a lot of things I've never done in life. There's a lot of things I don't have in life. And you might have done them things and you might have enjoyed that. But if you're sitting there on 15 racks of debt, pulling your hair out because you're not too sure if you're ever going to be able to pay that off and now your credit rating sucks, big up you, innit?
But that's the thing, bro. It's the other side of it as well. Because, like, I recently went on a course here and it was talking about... it's not called domestic violence anymore. It's called domestic abuse, isn't it? Because it can come under different types of
different
umbrellas,
things. Yeah, it's not
me?
just necessarily a case of violence.
One of them is financial abuse, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like...
Keeping someone tied to your purse strings.
There you go. Not just a lack of financial education, but it could be mental abuse, financial abuse, all these kind of things.
Yeah,
bro,
it does happen. Like, people get taken for an absolute ride.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like,
That's what I'm
even
saying,
down
man.
to silly things like internet fraud, you know, like some, you know, you have some middle-aged person, like, you know, not being ageist here, but a lot of the time the target is a lonely person in their 50s. That, you know, just some Donny living in Algeria somewhere has convinced you that he loves you, and rather than end up on an episode of 90 Day Fiancé, you've ended up on an episode of Can't Pay Will Take It Away.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You know, a man like Winston, you know what I mean? Come baby.
Yeah, just blown his last £60 on a horse and that.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, mate, the debt thing is mad. But
Trust me, bro.
I'm glad you're getting into something like that though, because it sounds like, you know, when, like, you know, full disclosure, you used to work, we used to work together.
Yeah.
Then I became a manager and you left to do something else. Then you came back and you were in my team for a bit.
You brought me in, bro.
Yeah, man. That's to bring man in, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man. Boys and that.
But yeah, so like, it's good to see, because I know you wanted direction. I know you wanted to do something with your life, as opposed to, like, for me, being in charge of that department. Obviously I did my qualification in management, and I'm doing other things as well. So for me, I am moving up and I am doing things, but for a lot of people in that place, it is kind of dead end.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
And I know you wanted to be out of that and actually be doing something more. So I'm glad you are doing something more. Where can people, before we crack on with the rest of the pod, where can people get in touch with the company? If and where's it based?
It was based in Dawson, but I believe they're moving in the offices. I'm not sure where, but like, we're doing everything over the phone at the moment. So, but if you want to have a look, it's at Fair Money Advice on Instagram. You can have a look there, you know. And the thing is as well, there's all these resources as well. Look at Debt Free London, things like that. You know what I mean? There's so many places that people can look to just, like, you know, get a bit more of an idea of what debt is, how it affects you, how it can affect you. Because the other thing about it as well, bro, what I didn't even realize as well, like when we're brought up, we don't really think about a credit score.
Yeah,
bro. I didn't realise how important a credit score is, bro. You know what I mean?
But you're someone who's always been, like, fairly sensible with money anyway.
Yeah, bro. But that thing is, like, I was talking to my mum, my mum was just like, my mum showed me her credit score the other day, and it was in like the 900s and that, innit? She was gassed, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing the difference now, because her yard's getting done up now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro, like, it wasn't that nice when I was living there. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I have conversations with my missus, but she's really smart with money.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's got a very good job, and you know, she does a lot of. She's a very hard worker.
Yeah.
She puts a lot of people I know to shame, including myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, always been very, very sensible with money and credit. And it's something I'm learning a little bit more from her, like just trying to be a bit more sensible. COVID's given me the opportunity to whack several £1,000s in a savings now.
Nice,
you know? So just again, because I'm not spending, you know, it's
bro.
not just a case of going to work, because obviously you see where I live, where we are now, it's not that far to work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I walk most of the time.
Yeah,
It's an hour walk, but what's an hour walk?
Exactly, bro.
Like, it's a question of not going places. Everywhere's been shut, so we haven't really had the opportunity. Like, but obviously, I've invested. I've bought like this mixer and the podcast equipment, and I bought a dining table for upstairs. Like, I've done like several bits and that needed to get done,
which is good.
But
man.
the rest of it I've put aside. So
yeah, I mean, like me and my brother, like, because obviously, like, we moved out, and me and my brother and his missus live together now. But in a way, even though we've taken on, like, say for example, the rent, the bills, all that kind of stuff, council tax, etc., like. We're actually living all right. Do you know what I mean? Simply because, like, I'm not travelling as much, or like,
Whereabouts are you now?
I'm in Goodmays, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's say about that better, bro.
I'll tell you a story off air about Goodmays.
Oh, please do, bro. Please do. I probably know the story. I'm going to tell you a story as well that I can't say on air as well, bro. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
This is the problem with this one. There's going to be points in it just for warning. We're like 20 minutes in, but for warning, there's probably going to be parts of this that get beeped and cut out because something's going to slip.
Trust me, bro. When we start quoting Sopranos on that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying, bro?
The quotes are one thing, but when we start relating it to real life, Jesus
no. Less of that, bro. You know what I mean? Less of that, bro.
But yeah, no, it's good that you're doing that. And yeah, I'm happy you're learning. I'm happy you're doing something that you seem really fulfilled with doing, man. And
yeah, bro. It's
bonus
fulfilling.
Bonus that it's being able to be done from home as well.
Yeah, bro. It's fulfilling, honestly, man.
How have you found the work from home experience? Because I found it a little bit mad. Like, you see, obviously I've got like my desk in my room and like the thing is I was going from there to there.
Yeah.
And it was doing my nutting a bit. That's why I bought the table for the kitchen. And I started I literally moved my office chair up to the kitchen so I could sit and just have a change of environment. And some days I'd be around Joe's and during the very first lockdown, she'd go to work. I'd just stay at hers for the week and just work from there because it's like the same four walls was driving me nuts a little bit. But the fact that I could get up at 5 to 9, log in.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. When I first started, I might get myself in trouble with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know my work patterns and that. But like, when I first started, I was doing the whole thing. I was waking up at 6 a.m. Like, doing all that kind of stuff. Blah blah. And I have a shorter distance to go. You see your bed over there?
Yeah.
You see your dresser's there? That's where my desk is, bro. I've literally just got to get up and sit on a chair, bro.
Yeah.
Bruv, it was honestly, sometimes it does my nutting in a way because like it's the social interaction that I miss. Like that's one thing I liked about where we used to work. Yeah, it's like even though there was characters in that, like the social interaction.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like,
and most of us are cool.
Yeah,
most of us.
Exactly,
are cool.
exactly.
And the people that weren't cool, they knew that you're my boy, innit? So they couldn't say nothing to you anyway.
No, but when we used to work there, like I was the go-between, bro. Like when people had problems, it's like Raph talks to everyone, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but yeah, man, it was funny though, like because when you just get lumped in with like you, Oracle, do you know what I mean? I got lumped in with you lot, bro. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh no, he's dodgy, like he hangs around with them lot, innit? You know what I mean? Man like Bertie and that.
Guilty by association.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I don't know what you lot did before I got there, but you know what I mean, bro?
Oh, mate, yeah. It's the amount of times in that place that we've just kind of been tied into quotes unquote laddish behaviour.
Behaviour.
Was you there when Baggio and Bertie nicked the Donny's locker and took it upstairs?
Yeah.
In a lift.
Yeah.
But that got pinned on me as well. I weren't even there.
That was jokes though, bro. I ain't gonna lie, innit?
So like for anyone listening, basically we used to have this geezer, I won't say his name, but he was in his late 60s. He was a legend, really, really nice guy. But we just used to play pranks on him, like just all kind of like we used to prank each other all the time.
Yeah.
Like we'd do silly things like tape the handset of the phone together so that when someone tries to pick it up, they pick the whole phone up, or like just stupid shit like that. But one time they got this guy's locker and they took it on it weren't even on a barrow, they just carried it. They picked up the whole locker and took it up 3 floors and just left it on a different floor. So when the guy came back, he didn't know where his locker was. But the thing is like, that's something that if he had the strength and someone mischievous to partner up with him, he would do that to them as well.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
There's no two ways about it. So,
but behaviour.
That's always been, so we kind of got, we're sick of this laddish behaviour. It's like, shut up.
Like, we're doing our jobs. Let's be us, innit?
The funny thing is when I got promoted to manager, I was in the same meetings as them dickheads. So it's just like, you can sit there and say, like, all of this stuff, but now I'm here now.
Exactly, innit? Let's bring this laddish behaviour to the table, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it was a good environment, man. It was. It still is, to be fair. It's been very weird because obviously the team's split in half, and I've got members of staff of the team that I haven't seen since last March, and we're actually all going back to work on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So when the podcast drops, this is going to drop on a Wednesday. I would have been back So yeah, man, I'm going to be back with the whole team for the first time since.
That's gonna be a bit mad still.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it is going to be a bit nuts. It's been a whole weird procedure because we've had times where we've been going back in and then it's been locked down again, and then we had that weird lockdown in November. A few of us still went in to do a couple of bits, and then we opened again.
So when you say opened again, has the place actually been open?
Hang on. I'm just gonna make sure there's a clap on there so I can see where to edit out the name of the place. But yeah, we've been open, and it's been reduced capacity. They've had, everything's been pre-booked. Orders have been 2 days in advance. So there's no live ordering, there's no live returns. Things get quarantined if they're used. It's been a bit of a weird setup. But yeah, we were open from. Obviously, I saw you in June. Yeah. I started doing the health and safety planning for the staff in June for our department. And yeah, we opened again mid-July, I think, something like that. Yeah. And we were back until obviously the November things, but we gradually added more services. So we had this department open, that department open, then we opened this department, and then this, and all the teams kind of moved and got changed as it were. So there was a lot of planning. There was more health and safety planning for each time we opened, obviously. But during the summer, things were calm. Got to September, October, things started going wayward. We probably should have locked down then. That's an argument for another day. But then, November we had that weird 4-week lockdown, or 2-week lockdown. I can't remember how long it was. Just didn't make sense. Yeah. By the time we went back, we were open from I think the 5th of December, something like that, and then 2 weeks later, whole national lockdown again. So we went back for 2 weeks, did a load of work, load of project work, and everything. Started new stuff, and I kept saying, "There's no point starting this because it's good." We all just knew, innit? Everyone knew, and then obviously, lo and behold, we don't go back again till April. Was it April the 13th or whatever? We all went back. So,
bro, all these lockdowns, I don't even pay attention to it anymore, bro.
Especially if you're at home, innit?
Exactly. It's like, bro, my life hasn't really changed that much since last March. Like, do you know what I mean? You can tell me I'm in a lockdown, bro. I wouldn't even know, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bro, it's long, bro. I'm not gonna lie though. Yeah, I actually am looking forward to just going somewhere and just shaking a leg, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. I've said it a couple of times. I'm not massively into the club thing and that anymore. But there has been times recently where I've sat there listening to tunes and that, and I'm like, do you know what I could do? I could do with a night out. Yeah. It would be nice to have a night out.
Do you know what I could do with, bro? Carnival.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to come back, bro.
If it comes back this year.
That's a madness, bro.
So we have done.
She tell me she not let go.
I will be flying off of a speaker.
Oh my days, bro! And the worst thing is, I haven't been carnival for I think about 3 years, bro. Yeah. I missed the last couple carnivals or whatever, simply because because where we always used to go was right near Rampage, innit?
Yeah.
And you always you get some Donnies that's walking, because we always go King Tubby's. Shout out King Tubby's, man. You know what I mean? From day, but when we used to go King Tubby's and that, you always get the man that was rolling through to go Rampage, innit?
I'm trying to be like you, big man.
Basically, bro. Bro, I remember 1 year, I'm obviously not going to say names, but 1 year, this man just rolling through, and they must have pushed my boy in the face. And he's like, "Oh, come on, bro. What you saying, blood? What you saying, blood?" It's like smashing the shit out of him, bro. Do you know what I mean? I me and my brother and my cousin, we just jump in to stop it and everything. Yeah. But bro, literally within a second that happened. That's the only reason I don't really like carnival too tough. But because I've been in my yard, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm typical West Indian where I'll play some soca while I'm doing anything. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm ironing my shirt. I'm just you know what I mean? But and I was just bro, I want to be in a place here where I don't know everybody in the room and just dance in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mate, I love it. I like to go up there early, get a bit of food, have a couple. There's times where I'll go and have food and I'll have a chill day. Yeah. And then there's other times where I'll just go there and I'll be waved from 8 in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
I'll just wake up drinking Courvoisier. A Courvoisier and coffee. And that's my start of my day. And it just goes from there, basically.
Well, this is the other thing, bro. Because I'm teetotal now, you're trying to be as much as I can, going carnival sober. It's difficult.
I've done it. It is difficult. I've done it though.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple of times. One time I did it wasn't even because I chose to. It's just because I was too fucked from the day before. Yeah. I just went with a 2-litre bottle of Evian and a packet of paracetamol, and that was me. I think I had earplugs in and everything. But yeah, man, I'm hoping it goes again this year. We'll have to see. with these variants and whatnot. We'll see what's happening.
Yeah,
But
trust me, bro.
I think if you get 2 million people together in Ladbroke Grove, you're going to have a new variant anyway.
Yeah, basically, innit? Like, you know what I mean? For every part of the world, bro. That's the other thing about Carnival, yeah? Like, obviously, when it first started, it was a celebration of being West Indian, blah, blah, but it's changed so much now, isn't it? Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's like that, you know, like you get them boxing
It was originally
purists.
like, it was even just like more of a Trini thing.
Yeah,
First of all,
basically.
wasn't it?
Yeah. But you know when you get like them boxing purists that don't like Mayweather because of the way he boxes and stuff like that. That's how I feel about Carnival sometimes, isn't it? You know what I mean?
See people bowling around with Nigerian flags.
Bro, like you can come in it. Why you have to why can't keep yourself quiet and that? You know what I mean? Put a guy in a flag on. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Funniest
man.
ones when you see white people with Jamaican flags.
Oh, I love it, bro. I love
It cracks me up.
I love it, bro. I love it. Do you know what? Funnily enough, right, last time I went Carnival, yeah, I met this like big group of people, innit? Like it's about like 5, 6 of them, like different guys and girls or whatever, from New Zealand, who literally just came to London for Carnival.
That's sick.
And I was just like, wait, hold on, you did that? How? I know it's like freaking 2 days ago to get from like that part of the world to our part of the world, innit? So you did like 2 days, yeah, just to come for Carnival. They was like, yeah. I was like, do you know what, yeah? Fair dues, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Invited to the cookout.
Yeah, you are invited to the cookout, bro. You got that card, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's nuts. That's actually nuts. But, you know, like, you get people that do that for things like WrestleMania and things like that as well. So, you know, people do travel for things that, I suppose if they knew about it, maybe they lived over here when it was first popping or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them scenarios. But yeah, I'm looking forward. Hopefully it comes back this year.
Yeah.
I know they did some weird thing online last year, and there was just bare pictures of Adele dressed up in like Jamaican bikinis with her hair done and all that. Bruv, that was mad.
You know what though? The worst thing is, yeah, like obviously living in Edmonton and that, I've known so many girls who look like that. You know, white girls that all named Chantel and that. You know what I mean?
they've got like a phrase from an N-Dubs track tattooed on their arm or something.
Mm-hmm. Hoop earrings, the piercing there. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember like back in the day? I don't know if you lot had this in the South, innit? But like definitely like in North London with like bare girls. You know when you used to have to slip down sideburns and the dummies, bro. You don't have the dummies as well.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
On like a shoelace.
Yeah,
there's a dummy on a shoelace.
Oh, bro, I never understood it, bro. I never understood it. Yeah, but it's at the same time, yeah, like in North London, especially where I was growing up, yeah. Your attire was like a short jacket.
Yep.
Tweenies hat.
With the little Velcro thing that rips off the jacket. Yeah.
The Tweenies hat, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we had Tweenies hats, bro. I don't know why. I don't know why, bro. This is before Iceberg and that, you know what I mean?
Fucking hell.
You know what I mean?
People are weird. Trends and that, like, trends are just funny to me, bro. Like,
trust me, bro.
It goes even now, as I say, like this crypto thing. It's a trend, bro. Like, bare people have jumped on it. It's a trend. That's why it's blown up and collapsed. Like, just because everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be an investor.
Yeah.
But like, you get people that are just influenced by something. Like, I remember a period where white Donnies in Camden or like Shoreditch or anywhere else, boat shoes.
Yeah.
Fucking boat shoes.
Everyone had them,
everywhere. Boat shoes and turn up jeans.
Yeah.
And maybe a Lila Scott jumper, but you all looked the same.
That's what I'm saying. You know, do you remember like as well? You get them like hipster Donnies, yeah. Like kind of they used to like wear hoodies and that, but they had like the white laces coming out, but they used to tie them in a bow. Do you remember that, bro? And have like the zip undone, bro. Like it was a cape or something.
It was ridiculous,
bro. Honestly, man, some of these trends were just stupid, bro. But then obviously as well, like when I look back at myself, like back then, yeah, I saw a picture of me and my best friend Marvin, innit? And like we're both wearing tracksuits, yeah, but not like tracksuits now. You know where tracksuits now are fitted in that?
Yeah.
Like tracksuits are like 4 sizes too big for us.
Winging, yeah. Just
bro,
winging.
You know what I mean? And my legs are skinny anyway, bro. So it's obviously the wind is like flapping and that. You get me, bro?
the bottoms had bare meat.
Bro, and it's bare gathered at the bottom as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm wearing Air Forces that look like my feet look like clown feet and that.
Oh my God.
And the worst thing is, yeah, mine was a velvet royal blue Snoop Dogg freaking tracksuit, bro. And I had the cane roll as well, bro.
Fuck, you know.
Oh my days! I look back at it now, and I look back at it how my mum and them look back at them in the 80s, innit?
Look back at their Co and that, the Jerry Co,
bro,
the Soul Glow,
bro. Like when I saw, remember that group? What are they called? Jade.
Yeah.
That's how my mum used to dress, isn't it?
You know.
That's all come back now anyway, though.
Yeah, which is mad, like in and of itself. Like I remember Reebok Classics come back a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Bruv, I got rinsed for wearing Reebok Classics in about 06, 07.
Yeah.
I had a banging pair of Classics. They were like blue and gold. They were like, if I was to wear these Classics now, people would be like, "Rah, where you get them shoes from?"
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like, but back then, everyone was, "Oh, Reebok Classics are pikey shoes." Like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, first and foremost, anyone who knows anything about me.
Yeah.
But like, secondly, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Pikey? How do you call it a pikey shoe? But yeah,
bro,
trends are mad. But that picture of Adele, like, it was mad, bro. Seeing the reaction to it, like literally every Jamaican that I saw on social media was like, "Big up Adele." Didn't give a fuck. Every non-Jamaican, mostly like even other Caribbean people, to be fair, but a lot of people I saw from African descent, people that I knew, and middle-class white people were fucking furious. They were absolutely furious.
Do you know why they're furious, bro? I'll tell you why they're furious, yeah? Because Adele dressed like that could walk into a yardie rave, yeah, and get absolute... You know, and have you heard Yardie's chirps as well, bro? Bro, the way Yardie's chirps is horrible, man. You know what I mean? Like, I feel dirty. You know what I'm saying? You don't say if I don't walk through a yardie rave, yeah, she's getting jumped on, bro.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But the thing is as well with Adele, like, it was a weird one because she's always been down for the cause anyway.
Yeah.
And she's from Ends.
She's from Tottenham, bro.
It's not
You know
like,
what I mean?
and the thing is, you can't turn around and say, "Oh, she's from middle class Tottenham," because there is no middle class Tottenham.
Where is right? I think middle class Tottenham has come up in the last year or so.
No, even now, no, just no.
I've been out the ends a while, innit? But like, bruv, like, Tottenham was never middle class.
People
bro.
were fucking furious, like, and I was just cracking up because everyone who should be furious is just like, we do not give a shit.
Exactly, bro.
And that's a big thing nowadays, you know.
Yeah.
That is a big thing nowadays. Like, people being offended for other people. Like,
days, bro.
I'm one of these people. Like, you know my values, yeah. Like, I hate racism. I hate sexism. Like, you know, but. Like, and I know there's a phrase that everything you say is bullshit if it's followed by the word but.
Yeah.
Like, I'm also not one of these people that's going to sit there and be absolutely outraged at every little thing or think that everything has to be, you know, because of, you know, the minority group that you come from. Like, if you don't get a job, it's not because you're gay. It might be. And if it is, you got a case.
Exactly.
And let's fight that together.
Exactly.
But if you didn't get the job, sometimes you might not just be the right person for the job.
What I'm saying,
like,
bro.
But discrimination absolutely happens. But yeah,
It's not 100% of the time, bro.
Nah,
I mean,
but
excuse
the
the
people that get-
freaking pun, yeah. But like, it's like when it comes to racism, it's not a black and white thing.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Nah,
like,
it's not.
There's grey everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like, bro, like there's
But
been...
we've had examples from where we were working together with that one woman that was refusing to be dealt with by people of colour. She would come to me and I would step out of the way and deliberately take myself out of the scenario so she had to go to the black people.
Exactly.
And because that's, first of all, that's me. And then we Googled her and we realised that she actually had criminal convictions for race.
yeah.
Like,
I know.
so it does happen and there's bare of it about. Like, the world's a fucking cesspit for hatred anyway. But when I see white middle class people getting outraged at Adele, part of me thinks it's because they're fans of Adele and they hate the fact that she's from Ends.
I know, innit? Like, listen, Adele's got the card, man. You know what I mean? She's invited to the cookout. I don't care what you lot say.
It's
bro.
mad. I hope she does something wild for Carnival this year as
Oh,
well.
please do, man. Please do. But the thing is, like, bro, like, this whole thing about like people getting offended for people, yeah. Like, to me, it's all for clout.
Yeah, a lot
It
of
really is all for clout, bro. Like, you know, like social media. Look, like, bro, I'm sorry, yeah. Like, I saw Dave Chappelle say this, and it's like, don't get into that woke trap because you can never be woke enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can never ever be woke enough.
Yeah.
Like, imagine like you're woke, yeah, but you still eat meat. Oh, you ain't woke enough. You ain't vegan. You ain't you ain't trillion level woke like me.
Yep, I literally saw someone on Instagram, and I'll tell you who it was after, that was saying a few months ago, I can't remember if it was like International Women's Day or something, but they were saying, you can't be a feminist if you're not vegan.
Bro, it's
You can't-
dinner.
You can't be a true feminist. Listen to this. You can't be a true feminist if you're not vegan. And the reason is because female cows get used for milk, and all of that, they get their babies ripped away from that. Bruv, literally, like, you can't be a feminist. You can't believe in women's rights unless you're a fucking vegan.
Fam, it's a bit of dinner. It's your choice for dinner.
The thing is, though, is like, I have no problem with vegans. I have no problem with... I think everyone should probably be vegan. I think I'm a hypocrite if I'm not. Fine, cool. I like steak, innit? Like, it is what it is. Like, I have no other reason for eating that other than the fact I like it. Like, that's it.
But bro, that's your prerogative at the end of the day.
But the thing is to sit there and equate women's struggles with it, like, you're not a true feminist. Like, listen, I want women to be paid for the same work as men, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely,
like,
bro.
I abhor, like, you know, that kind of sexist behaviour that's led to, you know, rape and domestic abuse and all this kind of stuff. Like,
and they're problems, bro. They are real problems. And the thing is as well, the one thing that I will say about feminism, is that I recognise, that in the last 100, however many years it's been, women have leveled up, bro. They have leveled up, like, and it's a good thing.
Yep,
it is
100%.
Definitely a good thing. However, as a caveat to that, I don't think that, like, it's like, for example, like, say, like with men, I can't say that we've leveled down, innit? It's just that when women have, like, leveled up to the point where we're on par, which is great.
That's the whole point of it, though. It's not to put men down.
That's
what
I'm saying.
To bring women up.
That's what I'm saying. But I think a big part of it now is just literally putting men down. Like,
some people, for
some people, because it's like, bro, like there are things where, like, you know, you could talk about toxic masculinity and things like that, and there are things about being a male where it's just like that women just aren't going to get. Do you know what I mean? Because it's literally is just like a bloke thing. Do you know what I mean?
There are times, though, to be fair, where you'll sit there and examine that for yourself, and we don't even get why we do some of the stupid shit that we do,
bro. Like sometimes when me and my cousins are together and my brother and that, we just do this. Like, you know, if a woman was just looking at us here, you just look at these fucking idiots. You know what I mean? Look at these fools.
But the thing is if we were outside of that male group and observing them,
Yeah.
we would think we're fucking
That's
stupid.
what I'm saying, bro. But I don't
yeah.
know why I do it, bro. We're just, again, maybe it's just for clout. Maybe we're just trying to, like, outman each other and that. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is, bro. Yeah. But it's in the same way, Like, I said this to, like, one of my female friends, innit? I said it's in the same way that, like, for example, not every woman, but for example, you know, when you and your woman are going out, and she is dressed, and let's say for a wedding or something, and she's dressed to the nines, bro. She's looking crisp, the most crisp she's ever looked, In the back of your mind, you know it's not for you, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh, you are letting the cat out of the bag with that one, boy.
That's
Jesus
not for you,
Christ. That is for me to look nice. That is how I want to look.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, sometimes as well, it's like, and I've got this as confirmation as well. I'm not just chatting rubbish, Uncle Raph isn't chatting rubbish. He listens to women, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's for other women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, bruv. Sometimes they have to stunt on these bitches.
Oh my God, you see what she was wearing?
Bruv, this is the thing, Like, it's one of them things where we're not meant, I think personally, we're not really meant to understand or really get on that well with women. And you know why? Because women understand women and they fucking hate each other.
Exactly.
It is mad. It is, if you want to hear the truth about a girl, in like a social setting, this isn't something I would do personally because I'm with someone and blah, blah, But if you're out a group drinking with a group of girls and you fancy a girl, have a couple of drinks with her friend and compliment her friend. The girl that you're interested in, compliment her to the friend. And watch what shit comes out of her mouth. Oh, yeah, but Stacey, but one time she borrowed like £20 off me and she still ain't fucking giving it back to me. Fucking slag. Trust me, that happens all the time. If you want to talk...
The worst thing is, you see if it's like, if it's the roles were reversed,
Yeah.
and it's the man them, and like the girl like asks you about your boy, what do you do, bro?
Do you want to hear? I'll give you an exact example. Right, exact example. My friend, who at the time was a piece of shit, he was seeing one girl. I'm going back like 5 years now.
Yeah.
Just for clarification, in case Joe's listening and she wants to go mad at me.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make a domestic joke, you know what I mean?
But no, this is a private example. He was going out with this girl, or seeing this girl. Like they'd been out on a few dates or whatever. Anyway, she was having like a little drink with her mate indoors, or they lived together as a flatmate thing, whatever. And she was like, "Oh, do you want to come around for a drink? Like have a bit of pizza or whatever." Cool. We weren't doing nothing. We were in the pub. So me and my mate went down there. Gone down there now, we're in the house or whatever and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, them two have gone to bed. And I'm sitting there just talking to this other girl. Nothing in it. Like, she was a nice girl and that, but we were just chatting away. And she was like, "Oh, like, my friend really likes your friend. Like, is he a good guy? Is he this? Is he that?" And I went, "Well, I like him."
There you go. There you go. Do you know what I mean?
What other answer do you... There's no other... Like, listen, if your boy says anything other than that...
He's not your boy.
Nah. Because if he turns around and says what a wonderful guy you are, he's setting you up to fail.
Exactly.
And if he turns around and says what a piece of shit you are, although he will probably do you a favour anyway,
Yeah.
because there's that weird reverse psychology,
Yeah.
like, let me change him.
Yeah.
Like, it will literally, like, unless all you do in that scenario is just say, well, I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's cool.
He's cool with me, isn't it?
Yeah, like if you want my opinion, that's my opinion.
There
I
you
can't
go,
tell
innit?
you anything else. But
I
if
ain't
you
saying
talk,
nothing.
yeah, but if I turn around to a girl and I'm just like, if I turn around to her and I said to her, oh, like, you know, your friend's nice, you know, she's really nice. That's the thing. Don't ask her, just tell her that her friend's nice. She'll be like, yeah, but no, the thing what you don't really realise about Chantel is, and it's just like, oh, here we fucking go. And it's mad the way like, we're going on a mad like tirade here about, like, you know, the differences between men and women. But
it's just fun to talk about.
Funny.
Though.
It is funny.
It's fun to talk about. And the thing is, bruv, like you said before, I don't think that, like, because this is like the.
But I will say that not all women, because like my missus, for example, loyal as fuck to her friends.
Yeah.
Won't say a bad word. Like, if there's something they've done that's stupid or they've pissed her off or upset her, like, it's a bit different. But she's like very, very loyal and doesn't speak down on people.
Yeah.
I think it's like a maturity thing as well.
100%.
So I think this is definitely more applicable to you girls that are listening that are in your 20s than maybe in your 30s or even late 20s. But yeah, if you're out there and you're dating girls in the early to mid 20s, then yeah, be prepared for these kind of politics.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm a single man now, bro. You know what I mean?
You're on. Come on. Oh, I should have got the camera out. I could have got you on here, like Gallus and
Man Gallus.
We'll have to do another episode for the Galdem.
Yeah, well, we'll see it. We'll see it.
How's the single life been? Have you been trying to date during pandemic times?
Do you know what?
Have you been out there just trying to spread your variants?
Do you know what? It's been a weird one, yeah, because like obviously the only way to really do it now, because like no one's going out, things like that, is to do this online stuff.
Yeah.
So I downloaded the apps and that. I don't like it though, bro. I don't like it. You know what I've realised, yeah?
Bare easy though.
No, bro. This is what I've realised, isn't it? Like, I've realised, yeah, you see dating apps, bro, they're not for men. They're not for men, and I'll tell you why they're not for men, yeah? To me, and this is just my opinion, I think we kind of put ourselves better across when we actually go up and approach a woman and say hello, blah, blah, because you're putting yourself across. Whereas on an app, yeah, like, you're one of, like, how many other guys?
It is quite mad.
Do you know what I mean?
It's quite mad, yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, them are hungry, innit? So, like, bro, I was talking to my boy the other day, and he was telling me that, like, weird story, yeah? Like, basically, do you remember Puff, bro?
Yeah,
Do you remember Puff, innit? Bro, I looked at Puff the other day, yeah, I was just like, a state of it, bro, you know what I mean? But, like, he went on Puff, yeah, he messaged this girl, she messaged him back, he messaged her again, she didn't message back. Time, innit?
Yeah.
This is before pandemic times. He went out, I think it was like a speed dating event or something like that, and he saw her there. He actually saw her there, innit? And he was like, oh, you know, you broke my heart this morning, innit? She's like, what do you mean? And she's like, and then she recognised who he was. She's like, oh, how come you didn't message me back in it? She opened up her phone, yeah, and there was about like 700-800 messages, bro.
It's a joke.
So you're 700-800 messages, and you won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I don't like these apps, bro. Do you know what I mean? I better put myself across. And
It's funny, like the thing is, Chris Rock said it in one of his shows many years ago. He was saying, like, ladies, every man you've met from the age of 16 has been offering you dick. Like, in a public setting, it's a bit more subtle.
Yeah.
Because guys will come over and they'll talk and they'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, like, you might think that, oh, he's just being nice.
Yeah.
Because you're not sure of people's intentions. Because sometimes, bruv, and ladies, newsflash, sometimes if we talk to you in a public setting, if we're out in groups or whatever, we are literally just making conversation.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. 80% of the time, probably not.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I'm always one of them people that I will talk to women in social groups the same way as I talk to guys. I'm just friendly. Yeah. But the majority of the time, when people talk to girls in clubs and bars and pubs or wherever, even on the tube, like
trying to get the tun-tun.
they are offering leng. but when it comes to a dating app, 100% of them are offering dick.
Exactly.
So it's different. It's funny though, because I remember being at a house, but I've just reminded myself of this story because this was fucking funny.
Yeah.
I remember being at a house party one time, my boy Nick, who you've met, his brother was leaving to go and join the army.
Yeah.
And we had like an all-day party at his dad's house, and like we had like decks there in the evening and stuff. Like, it was a really good day. I was talking to one of our female friends who hit me up recently. Actually, I've got to get back to her, big her up. And she's really, really pretty girl. She's like married with kids and stuff now. That's how far back we're going back like 10 years.
Jeez.
And but we were talking about like this kind of stuff, like guys approaching girls and blah blah blah. And I said to her, listen. Like, she was like, oh yeah, this guy come up and he was, oh hi, what do you do for a living and blah blah blah. I was like, babe, I don't know what you do for a living, and I'm your friend. Like, that guy does not give a fuck what you do. I'm telling you now, he does not give a flying fuck. Anyway, couple hours later, this guy's friends have turned up, and there's like randoms there that we don't know at this point, right? So obviously at the start of the evening, it's just like 5 or 6 of us that all know each other. Anyway, now there's loads of random people. Everyone was cool. But we're sitting on like a sort of like a picnic bench in the garden, and I'm sitting down one end, and she's kind of sitting opposite me, and there's a guy sitting next to her. And someone's talking to me, but I'm drunk. I'm not really paying attention. I'm kind of watching this convo because I can see my guys like gearing up. I can see it, and I'm just trying not to laugh. The second he turns around and says, so what do you do? I fell off the bench. She's looked at, because as soon as he said it, she's gone and looked and caught my eye. And I just fell off the bench because I was like, see, this guy does not give a fuck what you do. Because then she started telling him. So she, to try and prove a point, she was like, oh, so I work for this guy. And he's just sitting there nodding along. And I'm I didn't want to intervene, but I felt like saying to him, bruv, let's be honest, you don't give a monkey's what is coming out of her mouth right now.
Literally, all that's coming out of his mouth is, yeah, swear down. You know what I mean, bro? He's just trying to move the conversation along, like, you know what I mean, bro?
Literally, like, how can we get from A to D without going through B and C?
Exactly, bro. Exactly, man. You know what I mean? It's jokes, bro. Like, bro, honestly, watching like chirps and it's jokes, isn't it? Because it's like,
it is funny.
Bro,
it
honestly,
is funny.
Especially as well when, like, I mean, girls know what we're doing.
But most of them do, yeah.
They know what we're going. They know why we're talking to them to like 90% of the time. We know that we're just making conversation because like we just want to see that you just see that we're interested and we're interesting. Do you know what I mean? But it's like,
guys, stop thinking you're interested.
I know, innit?
Because most of you ain't interested, bruv.
Fuck it, bro. But I haven't really met many interesting people in my life.
The most interesting people I know, you never know they're that interesting until you're like 6 months into a friendship.
There you go.
And then they come out of, oh yeah, no, my family do this, and you're like, wow, really? Like, fucking hell.
Bro, remember how, like, with me and you, bro, like, when we met, innit? Like, we used to, like, just chat, like, whatever, blah, blah. But I remember it was that time when we were working together. We had, like, 3 straight rotors together, right? Yeah. And then, like, when we just started, like, talking absolute nonsense, and then we realised, like, oh, we're actually quite cool with each other, blah, blah. But the 6 months prior to that, you were just like, oh, there's James, innit? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just Raph. You know what I'm saying?
No, mutual love of certain things, which we'll get onto now, actually. Mutual love of not just UFC, mutual love formerly of pro wrestling, but yeah, Sopranos was like our main bonding thing at work, man.
Do you know when I knew you was my guy? I was telling my brother before I came here, innit? He was like, we were just all sitting in our group, and I can't remember who was there, yeah, but he was like, oh, I remember every blowjob I ever got. How about you, Raph? Do you remember? I was like, yeah. He was like, how long did it take for the guy to come? And I was like, Sopranos, my guy.
That is one of the best jokes ever, because if people haven't seen it, or even people that have seen Sopranos, like, I've seen it so many times, and I've got one of them memories that, like, I remember detail. Like, people that haven't seen it or haven't clocked it, they will never ever know how to respond. So literally, when you say to someone like, oh yeah, I remember every blowjob I ever got. What about you? Do you remember your first blowjob? Like, yeah. How long did it take for the guy to come? And it's just like, it just buries people every fucking time, and they haven't got a clue. It's so funny.
Trust me, bro. Like, when I realised it, I was just like, yeah, this is my guy. And then they went on to freaking Eddie Murphy, bro.
I've got to big up Mr. E, my special guest on episode 10. He's another one that you could sit and do that with for either of the Eddie Murphy specials.
Yeah, trust me,
like,
bro.
we literally just remember them back to front to back.
Oh my days, man. It's like, I literally remember the first time, like, well, obviously after I left where we were working, and then you brought me back. The first thing we did was we looked at each other and was like, Saturday!
Anyone who remembers Eddie Murphy, what was the first one? Was Raw, wasn't it?
No,
the first one was Delirious, red suit,
yeah,
and then the second
suit.
one was Raw with a purple suit.
Yeah,
red suit, Raw's good,
yeah,
but I think Delirious is still top.
Delirious killed it for me.
Yeah,
bro.
I think it's still top. Raw was good because of the Cosby shit. But Delirious.
Bro, even with the Michael Jackson stuff, it's like, Jermaine, stop teasing.
The thing is like Eddie Murphy could not tell those jokes now.
No way, bro.
Like,
can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, I get why, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier about people being offended for other people.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think gay people would be as offended as middle class white people would, like for them jokes.
Bro, I've got to tell you, yeah, like one of my stepsister, she had a brethren, he's bisexual and that, yeah, and like, bro, he loves Sizzler, innit? He loves Capleton and that, you know what I mean? You know how raw their lyrics are, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro?
I know gay people that dance to the most homophobic bashment music. You'll like literally, they will sing along to lyrics about killing gays.
Bro, and do you know what the worst thing is, yeah? Because obviously, like, I grew up with like a lot of like reggae, dancehall, all that kind of stuff. Supercat was my guy, innit? My dad there looks like Supercat as well, bro. It's jokes, innit? But like, you know, obviously because it's a different dialect, isn't it? Like, at the end of the day, I grew up in this country, so I understand like English as it's spoken, innit? Because I got an uncle, yeah, my uncle Michael. He's from Jamaica, innit? But when I say he's from Jamaica, he ain't from Montego Bay and he ain't from Kingston. He's from country Jamaica, innit? Bro, it took me about 20 years to understand this man, bro. You know what I mean?
He's from like the Alabama of Jamaica,
basically, innit? But it's like, bro, when you hear the music, yeah, obviously it hits. You know the vibe. You can feel the vibe in it, but you don't actually understand what's being said in it.
Yeah,
you know, like the Port them, bro.
Yeah.
Like with Sean Paul.
Yeah,
but it was a banger in it.
Yeah.
But when you actually realize what it's actually about, yeah, you're just like, whoa. Do you know what I mean?
Even tracks that, like, you know, you mentioned Capleton and like, even like Slew Them, like when you even when you hear the tune, you're like, hang on a minute, I'm fucking white. I should definitely not be singing this. Talking about killing Duppy and that. Oh, okay.
But honestly though, bro, like even though the subject matter, like, I'm not gonna lie, when them tunes hit, it just takes you to a different place.
Oh, it's different.
You know what I mean,
It's
bro?
different. Like, but the thing is, as I say, like I was talking about it on quite a few episodes ago now. I DJ'd at a black gay night in Vauxhall. Probably some of the best sets I've ever played in my life. And it was at the time when UK Funky was really popping, and I had a little bit of a rep for being able to not only just play UK Funky but bury UK Funky sets. Like, and I got hired to do this Club Life in Vauxhall. It was a big fucking rave, and yeah, I went there, and at one point I did like the early set in room 2, and it was more just a housey thing. And when I went in room 1, it was like the rawest of raw. Everyone in there was gay, but they were all singing along to like Kill the Batty Boy. Like, it's just like, what is going on here?
You know what I mean? Like Buju and that, you know what I mean?
Literally, like the most homophobic shit ever.
Do you know, funny enough, like Buju actually came out and actually said that he regrets like making Boom Bye Bye.
They woked him.
Yeah,
he got woked.
At the same, do you know what he said? That like when he made it, he was like young. He was just first coming out and stuff.
The
like
thing
that.
is, though, it's like it is a weird, like it is a cultural thing. But you would be surprised how many people from them cultures are gay. Like, and it's just like, but they're not fuming about them tunes or anything. Like,
no, they're not,
it's a weird thing.
I've got an uncle, like he's gay. I didn't know for 20 years that he was gay, by the way. But like, things started to make sense afterwards. And that, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, because he's like a masculine, like manly man. Not saying that gays aren't or whatever, but it's just like the stereotype that we had back in those days. Of gays is what it is. They're all like, you know, Will from Will and Grace and that, you know what I mean? Or like, what's that other annoying geezer that's in it? What's his name, bro?
I can't remember, but I know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about,
isn't
it?
The sidekicks.
Like, bare annoying, bro. You know what I mean? You know them people, like, they're funny on screen, but if you knew him in real life, like, you just want to slap him in the face, like Sheldon and that. You know what I mean, bro? But yeah, like, when I found out that he was gay, I was like, oh, cool, innit? Like, you know, do what you're doing, innit?
Was it a big deal in the family, though?
Not really, because like people knew. Like everyone knew. It's just not something that was spoken about. And in the West Indian culture, like being gay isn't really something that's spoken about. And when it is spoken about, it's not in a very nice way. Do you know what I mean? So like, but like, it's just I didn't think anything of it because obviously I've grown up here and like being gay is acceptable, which I think it should be, bruv. I don't think it's anyone's business to be telling what to do in their bedroom.
Like it's one of them things where you know, like you'll feel a certain, you know, everyone will feel a certain way with a prejudice about something. Like anyone who says they're 100% comfortable with absolutely everything that isn't the quotes unquote straight white normal, they're fucking lying to themselves, because everyone sees things through a certain lens.
Exactly.
Like, it does happen. Like, you know, and there are certain things that, for example, like someone in my family, I won't say who, they don't have a problem with gay people. If anything, they're happy that gay people even exist. But when it comes to gay marriage, they're like, oh yeah, but in my opinion, like marriage, like according to the Bible, is man and woman.
Yeah.
And like, first of all, that's bollocks anyway. It's not even a real thing. Like, but it's kind of like they're just clinging on to that one little thing that's theirs. Or they feel like it's being taken away from them.
Yeah.
And you have to explain to people sometimes, just because those people get the right to marry doesn't mean you don't get the right to marry.
Yeah.
That's a big issue, I think, with a lot of people. But I think, like, you know, society in general, like, it just, we're in a place now where things are different. Do you know what I mean? But it's still a weird thing. Like, everyone still looks through the lens of things that are, you know, something will bug them. But for me personally, homosexuality is the last thing on my list of anything that makes me feel even slightly uncomfortable.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is, bro? Is that like, and it sounds bad, isn't it? But I don't care enough to be offended by it.
There's that.
Do you know what I mean?
There's that as well. Yeah,
let them do what they're doing. I don't care enough. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you have to ask people that, when people get pissed off by, like, you know, gay people, or like even interracial couples. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had conversations with you before about, like, you know, certain members of my family when I started seeing who I'm with, like, not because they were deliberately hateful, but they just said some shit that was unacceptable. Without really realizing it was unacceptable.
Cute racism, I call it.
Yeah. Just casual, casual, stupid racism.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, a lot of the time, if I see something, if I see like an interracial couple, I don't give a fuck. Like, why do you care? That's my point with a lot of them kind of things, whether it's with people being gay, whether it's anything else. Like, why do you give a fuck?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, the last thing that I could care about, is interracial couples, because I'm freaking mixed as anything, bro. You know what I'm saying, innit? There's too much racism in my family, bro. Everyone in the West Indies had jungle fever and that. You know what I mean, bro? But bro, like, it is a big thing for a lot of people. Like, bro, like, you know me, I've always had a thing for, like, you know, brown girls and like Asian girls, blah blah. And especially because, like, I'm only ever really seen as like being a black person, even though I've got Indian in me or whatever, blah blah. It doesn't matter, because if I'm walking down the road, I used to get bare looks, bro. Bare looks at it. And it was just like unnecessary. I remember one time we was in home base, innit? And like, we must have walked past this black girl, and I must have heard the loudest chops I've ever heard in my life, innit? Like, you know what I mean? One of them proper, like, angry ones.
So she was fuming that you were with someone who wasn't black,
basically. Yeah.
Even though the person you're with, I'm assuming, is who you used to be with.
Is
from a similar Indian heritage, from the other half of your family.
But it's just, I think it's just the thing where we just look at people and I don't think that anyone who says that they're not judgmental.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Everyone has got something. And it doesn't matter how woke you want to pretend to be, there is some point somewhere where you will have something. But
it's literal normal human nature. Like, it's literally a survival mechanism to judge things.
It's an unconscious bias.
Exactly.
The whole thing around this is what makes me laugh about now, is when people say, oh, well, you know, you get like the white people like, oh, I don't need unconscious bias training at work. It's all fucking bollocks. No, it's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
And it affects all of us.
Exactly.
Whether it's ageism, whether it's something else, like, we will always see it through a lens of. Do you know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. If I look at someone that we used to work with, for example, like, do you know what I mean? And I want them to lift up something that I know you could lift up. Like, it's not an unconscious bias for me to say you're the better person for that job, but I'm not looking at them as a person. I'm looking at their attributes. And I'm saying, oh, well, you know, that person's not like you. You do see difference. You always see, but it's okay to see difference. It's just how you see difference and how you judge people based on that.
Exactly. It's like, your actions afterwards at the end of the day.
Like, if you see someone as not being good enough for the job because of the colour of their skin, like, whether you make an active decision to say that, or like you actively think it, or whether it's just something ingrained in you, is just like, oh, you know, I've got two lads here, one's black, one's white, the black guy is likely not to turn up early. Like, that's a stereotype, it's lazy, and it's an unconscious thing, right?
Well, saying that though, I did turn up late to this, isn't it?
Yeah, but you ain't getting paid for this, motherfucker. So yeah, I think we all see things through different lenses, you know. And everyone is kind of on a journey. Although I do kind of hate that a little bit, because then you get people that have just been like mad racist and try and excuse it a couple of months later. Like, but I'm on a journey.
Yeah,
but we all are, you know. And yeah, it's
something
mad.
that's learned and something that needs to be unlearned, but doesn't need to be unlearned to the point that you change yourself completely as a person.
It also doesn't need to be unlearned overnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't expect, like for example, you used the word at work and got pulled up on it.
Yeah.
And you didn't realise that word was offensive. But then when you had a conversation with that person, you were just like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, now, to turn around and try and label you as being same as like, you know, a Brexity white bloke who loves saying offensive things.
Yeah.
It simply is not the fucking case.
It's not, bro.
However, you said something that you were like, oh, right, I didn't realise that word was offensive.
Yeah.
Like, I remember years and years ago, I was in a studio and someone, we were sitting having a conversation. The guy that owned the studio, he was a prick anyway, but like proper upper class geezer who had a studio for his band to practice in.
Oh, my band.
Yeah, because daddy paid for it. Never had a job. Like, he was 21, 22, walked around with an open shirt, leather trousers, like just a cock, an absolute cock.
You know, like them guys that used to come to where we used to work here.
Yeah.
And you can look at their names and they're double barreled and that.
Yeah,
but they're still dressing like tramps for some reason. because that was in.
He was literally like that.
Yeah.
But someone was having a conversation about Lionel Blair. I don't know if he had died or something. And someone went, "Who's that?" And I went, "Oh, little puffy used to dance." Right? Now, I didn't mean it as in like I'm trying to offend someone because they may or may not be gay.
Yeah.
Like, I just said it because that was my vernacular. Like, that's like Joey Diaz talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to say this. I'm still going to say like I'm 55 years old. I'm not going to not say that word overnight because you tell me I can't. I need to get it out of my system if it is something that upsets people. I'm sorry if it upsets people, but that's how I speak. But I literally sat there and I had a little puff that used to dance, right? And what was that word? He said, like, he just switched on me. I went absolutely nuts. But I'm like, I didn't mean something by that, but I accept that. I don't know if he is gay or isn't gay. That's beside the point. Like,
beside the point, yeah.
I accept that. Yeah, no, that is, you know, puff's not a nice term.
Exactly.
It isn't.
But the thing is as well, the way it's approached, like, say for example, like, he went nuts on you, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that the way to change someone's mind?
Of course it isn't.
Bro, like, I've never had...
I wanted to punch him. I'm not
That's
gonna
what I'm
lie.
saying, bro.
If it wasn't for the fact that my mate's band were rehearsing in his studio that day, he would have gone through the fucking window.
That's what I'm saying, like, bro, don't
he
talk to me
got
like
up
I'm
in my
dickhead,
face,
you know what I mean?
like he was spitting and and I was just like, bruv, like, you are some posh little prick with long hair. I'll swing you by your hair.
Bro, do you know what? Yeah, like, I don't mind being corrected at the end of the day.
Of
because,
course.
like, if I have a belief that is either limiting how I see people or could limit me going further or things like that, then I should be corrected at the end of the day. But don't talk to me like I'm a prick, bro. You know what I mean? Like, the way I talk to people and that, you get me? That's where I think a lot of people go wrong. Like, especially as well, like, for example, with this, like I said to you before, I was on the way here, like, the protests are going on right now for Palestine, which they rightly should.
Yeah.
However, I can see on both sides, it's like with anything, when you have a view and you meet someone who doesn't agree with your view, for some reason, our first reaction is to, like, basically label that person either a racist or a xenophobe or a this or a that or a blah, 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 which is not helpful at all.
Mate, the thing is, even people on the same sides of an argument will never agree 100%.
Exactly.
A big example is Brexit. One thing I always talk about, and I try and have conversations with friends who voted Brexit. Well, I say friends, they're now ex-friends. But like, I was never necessarily like a Remain guy or anything like that. But when I talk to people who voted for Brexit, like, the people who voted to Remain just wanted things to stay the same, leave it the fuck alone, not interested, for the most part.
Yeah.
And if we can, let's try and make this situation better, The people who voted Brexit, you could have a conversation with 50 of them, and you get 50 different reasons, or you get 10 different reasons as to why. And then when they were trying to debate this whole, like, deal, no deal, this type of deal, that type of deal, you can't agree. You lot can't even agree on what it is that you're fucking arguing about. So how the hell's the rest of the country supposed to get on board?
Well,
and it's the same with the Israel-Palestine thing. Like, I know people who are pro-Palestinians that are vehemently anti-Semitic. Like, I don't like that shit. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to go back to people thinking it's cool to kill Jews.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Same way I don't think it's cool, you know, we should be banning gay people from being together. Like,
exactly.
For me,
I mean,
it's
like,
the same
bro,
thing.
and the thing is to say that you don't think that we should go back to, like, the way Jews used to be treated isn't any way negating what's going on with Palestine.
Absolutely
Bro,
not.
like, if you look at Palestine,
It's
what
fucked.
Palestine used to be, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, Like, it's mad, bro. Like, my boy actually went there. Well, not my boy, my cousin's boy. He actually went over there.
Because say not your boy, your ex-boy, because he's now dead. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
holiday destination,
you know what I'm saying,
of choice.
bro? But like, he went over there. He
Who
went.
did he book that with? Hardjet.
You dickhead. Bro, you're too much, you know.
Bro, who wakes up one day and goes, Palestine?
You know what I mean? Bring it. Next stop, apartheid, South Africa. You know what I'm saying, isn't it?
Fucking hell.
But yeah, like he went over there. Yeah, like he went to Jerusalem first to see Jerusalem and stuff. like
Okay,
that.
so he went to Israel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then he went over to Palestine. He went over to like Nazareth and like all these kind of places. Blah blah blah. And he went to the. He
Yeah, I
went
suppose
near,
that
like,
part of
that
where
side
Jerusalem
it.
is considered West Bank, isn't
Yeah,
it?
basically.
Rather than
he
Gaza.
went to West
yeah.
Bank. He didn't. I don't think you can go to.
I don't think you can. No.
But he went to West Bank and that. Yeah, and he said that the way these people live and the way they're treated, bruv, is ridiculous.
Yeah, they're
bruv. It's
second-class
ridiculous.
citizens. Yeah,
Like-
second-class citizens.
Like,
When they started doing vaccines in Israel, it had the most successful vaccine rollout in the world. Palestinians weren't offered the vaccine.
you're joking.
No. But this is it. Like, there is legitimate things that you can criticise the Israeli government for, but I don't need to sit here and say that Jews did that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem, is there are still bare people out there
Yeah.
that are using it as an excuse to attack Jews.
Exactly.
But there's a flip to that, where there's bare people that use the excuse that if you say anything against Israel, you're automatically saying
Saying
stuff
something
against
against
Jews.
Jews.
It's quite mad. It's quite mad.
That's the thing, bro, because like it's not anti-Semitic to be anti-Israel.
No.
You know what I mean? And it's not like Islamophobic to believe that Israel should exist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I think what we do, like I think like it's even with the Brexit thing.
Yeah,
bruv.
we do try and go, but do you know what? We do try and go with like a black and white thing, but the Brexit thing's a big example of it. I think that's caused more of that than anything else.
100, bro.
Because when you offer a country like an election, you've got 4 or 5 different parties and different ways of doing things, and you know within those parties you've got moderates, you've got this, you've got that. But then when you have a yes or no answer, like, bruv, life ain't dealt with in
a yes or no answer to like a really complex question.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes, bruv, and I'm trying to
That's
live like
what
a
I'm
Jedi
saying,
out
yeah.
here.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's fucked. It's fucked. Like, we live in this mad world where literally, as you say, like the other thing that makes me laugh as well, someone said this the other day. They put, I've seen this post before, but someone posted it on their Instagram, and it was like, social media is mad. You could turn around and say, I really like apples, and someone would be like, yeah, but I think you're forgetting the existence of oranges and bananas.
Bro, it literally is like that, bro. It
That's
literally
why
is
I
like
know
that.
you're happy to not be on the socials.
Bro, I don't have no socials, bro. You know what I mean? I took myself off that years ago, bro. Like, you know when I started taking myself off of that, yeah? Like, I clocked it from uni, innit? When I was, like, dating a girl back then. And I put up a picture of me and 2 of my best female friends at the time, innit?
Yeah.
And it got some likes, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, my boy was like, oh, is Mrs. happy about this? And I was like, I was just taking it as a joke. I was like, I don't know, ask her, innit? Bruv. The madness I got into because of that comment, yeah. It's like, so what you think you're nice, innit? You think you're nice at getting all these girls on like freaking Facebook and that, blah, 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 all these likes and that, yeah. What, are you disrespecting me? All that shit, yeah. From then, I was like, nah, social media is the devil's work, bro. You know what I mean? You're doppy there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm lucky. Like, me and my missus don't like argue about social media or anything like that. She moans if I'm sitting on my phone too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't like. But then, you know, we're not people that sit and like pictures and stuff. Like, you get some people that are mad toxic with that, you know, like some people that are mad toxic with their social media. Like, they will deliberately comment on like a girl's friend's pictures and like and do he in the comments, like to try and wind their missus up. I'm like, what?
Why?
Fucking
Why?
Have you seen that meme on Instagram and the geezer dressed up like a warrior and he goes, I don't want peace, I want problems always. That's you. Why do you want to create more issues in your life?
Bro, life is complicated enough. Why are you trying to create more problems, bro? Do you know what I mean?
Fucking mad. Like, literally, like, why did you wake up today and choose violence?
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? I've had a boring few days. You know what? Let me give myself something else to worry about. Do you know what I mean?
I honestly think people do that.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, like people do it because 1, they're bored, and 2, because of the clout, bro.
Yeah.
Like honestly, and I think clout is the worst thing in the.
Do you know the trouble
world,
is sometimes though it is accidental. Yeah. So like case in point, I think I probably told you about this. I tweeted about Meghan Markle one time in defense of Meghan Markle, by the way. just before anyone else listens to this and kicks up fuckery about I'm not. But I tweeted something in defence of Meghan Markle. And when I tell you the death threats, the misspelt death threats that I got, fucking hell. Bruv, I went that night when I'd done that tweet, it got traction, it took off, and I thought, you know, I'm not even looking at it. I muted the notifications and everything. I went to see Endgame that night. It was on a midnight.
Yeah.
And I come at the cinema at 3 a.m. I was walking down the road, and I was just like, what in the fuck? Like, my DMs, like, everything, bruv. Oh, you fucking race traitor. Like, bruv, all of this mad shit. Like,
just because you defended a
just
bird.
because I said something that was like positive about someone that for whatever reason racist people hate. I wonder why. But but yeah, it's
because we're in the palace now, mate.
Yeah, there's burnt out cars on the driveway.
You know what I mean, bro? Cookout and that, you get me?
The fucking basketball hoop out the back of Buckingham
You know what I'm
Palace.
saying, bro? There's Beres Hammers being played. Like, I feel a shiver.
Do you know the one that done me is, you remember the video of when Meghan was walking down the aisle?
I know where you're going, bro.
Someone dubbed it with, she's your queen to be. Isn't it like when people have done pictures of Harry in like the full garb and like with the fucking African clothes on and that?
It was jokes though, bro, because even like my grandma, like my grandma has WhatsApp and that, innit?
Yeah.
Like, we've got like family groups and that, And even my grandma was just like posting things about Harry, like being like, he basically got on a pass now, you know what I mean?
He's in an Avrex.
You know what I mean? I was just like, grandma, like, it was a big deal, you know? Her, and bro, she's sexy, innit, bro? Like, she's buff, bro, you know what I mean?
But the thing is, like, as I say, when it comes to defending people or saying something online for clout, like sometimes, bro, you just say things for banter. Like, I made a joke about Brexit once. Yeah. Like, fuck me. Like, I literally had 2,000 replies to the tweet of people just going absolutely mental. I said something about Tommy Robinson once. Like, I wasn't doing it. Like, literally, I've got like 750 odd followers on Twitter, right? And I was saying something to the people that follow me because they follow me because sometimes I make jokes. Do you know what I mean? Or I have a bit of banter with people, or sometimes it might open up a conversation. I just tweet shit.
Yeah.
I said one joke. For whatever reason, some wrong person found that tweet. And yeah, fuckery ensued, bruv. It was bananas.
That's what I'm saying, bruv. And like, I don't know, man. This is what I say. Like, social media is just not for me, bro. Like, I like to keep myself to myself anyway. Do you know what I mean? I talk to a lot of people, but in terms of my own private life, I try to keep myself to myself and things like that. So, like, social media is just like the anti-that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and one thing I don't understand about social media, and I've seen quite a few people do this. You know, like you just bought a yard.
Yeah.
And they take a picture of the yard and the keys and everything. It's like, bro, I can easily find out where that is. I can easily find out where that is, bro.
I said it years ago. I think it was on Facebook or whatever. I'm like, thank you all so much for posting all of the Christmas presents that you bought your family this year.
Innit?
I'm coming round.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
You wonder why your house gets robbed.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's like, I don't know, man. Like,
you can't overshare on them things.
That's
you
what
really
you know what it is?
overshare.
It's a bunch of people, who have not had much in their life happen to them in
Goes
that way.
Goes back to what we were talking about at the start of the podcast. Like people who've come from nothing, who've now got a little bit of something, they want to show it up, which I get, but there's a pitfall to that. You know what I mean? You can't. You can't expect that people aren't going to react a certain way. I'm not saying you deserve to be robbed by any means, but yeah, man, you can't expect not to happen.
Honestly, though, like, I don't know if it's just me or if it's like people that I know and stuff like that. But when you've grown up in ends and that, like, there's certain things you know not to do, innit?
Yeah.
Like, if I buy a yard, no one knows where I live unless you actually know me, innit? Unless you're in my phone book, and that's still a very select few people, you don't know where I live.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But then certain people are just like not like that, and I think it's the people who are like that, are the ones that they've not really had to be like that. Do you know what I mean? Because when you obviously you're from ends, I'm from ends, innit? When you walk about, like, sometimes you do have to look over your shoulder a little piece or whatever, or assess the situation, like, blah blah blah. It's a natural thing because of where we've grown up. But we'll say, for example, you're a person that's never had to do that.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? You're going to move a different way.
I'll give you a prime example. I'm going back 2009. I'll never forget this happened. I was with a woman who's a DJ. She played on the same radio station as me. And I can't remember for what reason. The radio station was in Enfield, in Ponders End. And I think, like, I used to live like in Camden at the time. I think she was giving me a lift home. She lived like Finchley kind of way, so she'd like take a little bit of a detour, drop me off, and then go. She was cool like that, really nice girl. Anyway, driving back, it was about 11 o'clock at night and was on Tottenham High Road. And we get to like a zebra crossing and it's like Nitty basically walks out. I clocked straight away he was a Nitty. He didn't look too grubby, but I clocked straight away.
Yeah.
He's walked out in front of the car, right? On the zebra crossing, he's stopped. He's looked down at the front of the car. He's gone, oh, there's something leaking there. You've got a leak under your car. Bear in mind it's raining. You ain't going to see if there's a fucking leak.
Yeah, of course. Isn't it?
He's looking under, like, she's undone her belt and gone to get out of the car. I grabbed her. I went, are you fucking stupid?
You know what I mean?
She went, what do you mean? And I went, the second you get out of the car, he's expecting I'm going to get out of the car. Someone else who's probably standing behind that car there is getting in this car.
Exactly.
Like, are you fucking stupid? And she went, wow, people do that. I was like,
yes.
Well, what do you mean do people do that?
Yes.
Of course they fucking do that. Like, where did you grow up? And she's like, Finchley. And I'm like, well, that probably explains a lot.
Enough, you know what I mean?
But yeah, no, if you're not wise to it, you won't ever be wise to it. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird thing like that. But
That's what I'm saying, bro. But the funny thing is, though, is that even though I grew up in those sort of areas and things like that, yeah, I was lucky, bro. Because I had two parents who kept me away from all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because, like, bro, loads of my boys who are, like, you know, they're from ends. I don't really chat to them anymore, blah, blah, because life just took us in different ways and stuff like that. But the ones that did get involved, like, they ain't about no more. Do you know what I mean? So I was lucky, bro. I was very, very lucky.
Yeah, I was saying this on one of the other episodes. Like, when you grow up, like, I used to see the drug dealers and that around the area, and you used to be jealous of them and want to be like them because they had a goal for 18 or whatever. But then you look back now, and them guys are either working some shitty ass job somewhere, doing nothing with their life, or they're in prison, or they're dead.
That's it.
Like, none of them really flourished and did anything with that money that they made.
It's a mugs game. It's a mugs game.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Growing up, it ends. But we did touch on it a little bit earlier. We've done an hour and 20 minutes. So I did want to crack on and talk a little bit about our mutual love of Sopranos. Because I've gone back and I've been watching some episodes. Just like I've got a Fire Stick, right?
Yeah.
And it's got all the dodgy channels on it. And
Yeah.
And there's 24/7 channels on there. And sometimes where I've been working from home, if I've not got meetings in that, I'll put on the 24/7 Sopranos channel.
Ah, yeah, I've seen this,
it
bro.
just plays the fucking series from start to finish over the course of days, weeks, however long it takes, and it just goes through. So no matter when you turn it on,
There's an episode on it.
it's just Sopranos. And obviously with a love of Sopranos that we've got, I can literally just put it on anywhere and I know the storyline, I know exactly where I'm
That's
at,
what
and
I'm
I can
saying,
just
bro.
enjoy it.
But even like to the point, yeah, where sometimes like when I'm like just sitting down like on my phone, I'll randomly just type into YouTube like certain scenes. You know, like Christopher's intervention and things like that, bro. Bro, that is one of the best scenes ever, bro. You know what I mean? Oh man, like, and the thing is, like, one of my cousins does it as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes we'll just quote at each other.
Bruv, most of our time at work together was often summed up like if an incident happened at work, we could probably sum it up with a Sopranos quote.
Oh.
I had a meme. I can't remember if I saved it or not. I was going to send it to you. I might even have to try and find it afterwards. It's a Paulie meme. Like, Paulie Walnuts is quite possibly one of the greatest TV characters ever. I was going to ask, actually, one of the things I was going to ask you about your love of Sopranos, like, I've probably, like, spoiler alert, probably ruined it, but who was your favourite character from Sopranos?
Paulie.
Yeah, it has to be, innit?
Exactly. No, what? It's a toss-up between Paulie and Sil. And I'll tell you why Silvio, yeah? Because, like, he is literally, like, what's the guy's name who plays him? Something Van Zandt.
Steve Van Zandt.
Steve Van Zandt.
He was actually the guitar player for Bruce Springsteen's band, yeah.
Now, the thing is with him, yeah, like, he's playing a person who is basically a caricature, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he plays him so well. Like, you know that dead impression he does of, like, the Godfather? Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. It's actually a dead quote, bro. Like, he does it shit, innit? But he plays it so well, someone doing a shit quote shit. Do you get what I'm trying to say, bro? Yeah. Like, so Silvio was one of my favourites, especially because he was loyal, bro. He was loyal to the end, bro. And, like, Paulie, definitely because, you know, I just love a guy that, like, tells a joke twice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's funny when, like, it's he's not explaining the joke.
Yeah.
He's just repeating it to make sure that you found it fucking funny.
Did you hear it? Did you hear me?
It's basically it. No, the meme I found here was whenever people were talking about there's a good page called Time Immemorial on Instagram, and there's loads of different Sopranos quotes and memes. But when the CDC, which is like the medical people in America, said you don't have to wear masks anymore if you've got a vaccine, there's this picture of Paulie, which is legendary, and I'll read it out. It says, CDC, CBD, CNBC, it don't matter. You still got to stay the fuck away from me. I'll do respect. I'll do respect. But then the quote at the bottom of the meme says, bacteria and viruses migrate from the soul up. Anyone who's seen the episodes of Sopranos where Paulie's being a massive germaphobe will realise like that he is probably the best character in any show. He's up there for me. He's just so fucking ridiculously loud.
Do you know what it is as well, bro? He's actually quite, when you think about it, he's actually quite a tragic character as well.
He really is.
Bro.
He really is.
Like he's literally, that's all he knows. That's all he has, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
He's just the guy from the mafia, and he's got his mum, and that's it.
Yeah.
Doesn't deal with his siblings, his family, anything like that. Like it's just him and his ma, and he is just in the mafia. That's it.
I tell you what though, you know when he rolled out for his mum and that, when he went to like see the principal, whose mum was in the care home with his mum, he's like, she's a malignant cunt.
it's the phrases in Sopranos that do it. You know, some of the best things in Sopranos for me is where Tony tries to sound intelligent.
I know, especially as well, like oh, what's his face? Little Carmine as well, bro.
Yeah.
You know, is this little sayings and now oh, bro, he's dumbish. But then, bro, there was a theory that come out, that like little Carmine knew what he was doing, innit? He was just playing. He was playing both sides, and
wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either,
at all.
You know what I mean?
No, you do get that sense that there's ulterior motives with a lot of the characters. Some of them are painfully obvious.
Yeah.
But there's others. But Tony, like when Tony would try and sound intelligent, like I think even in like it might even be the first episode or in the first series, he's talking to Melvin. He's like, I understand Freud as a concept. I got a semester and a half at college. It's just like you're talking to a professional psychiatrist about your semester and a half at college, and you think that somehow makes you fucking intelligent.
I know, bro. I know.
It's ridiculous.
I tell you what, though, there was I rewatched the episode recently. You know when he takes Meadow to college?
Yeah.
And he kills like the rat or whatever, blah, blah. Sorry for spoilers, but this was going to happen anyway. But like, bro, that was probably like one of the first times like the protagonist of a big American HBO show like killed someone in cold blood.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The Sopranos was way ahead of its time,
Sopranos
bro.
was groundbreaking. If we didn't, I've said it before, like if we didn't have Sopranos, we wouldn't have had, obviously The Wire came slightly after it. We wouldn't have had Breaking Bad, you wouldn't have had Game of Thrones, you wouldn't have all of these long series that have got like hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have had that shit because Sopranos was the first one to do that.
That's
what
I'm saying. And
what show can you name pre-99 that had episodes that were an hour long and that every episode was like a movie?
I can't think of one, bro.
Bruv, revolutionised television. And saved
was
HBO.
Oz before that?
Not sure.
It wasn't, was it?
No, I don't think so. No.
But even then, that's not the same anyway. But like, that's the earliest one.
Like literally, HBO was on its arse before it bought.
Yeah.
I think if Sopranos had been a flop, I read somewhere that HBO would have gone bust.
Swear down.
Yeah, apart from like the HBO boxing, which then later did, fell off the wayside anyway. But
bro, you wouldn't think that though, because the amount of like successful shows that they've had, bro, you would never think that it's like Disney going down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was born of that. But also, it was born in a time where, people would watch religiously them kind of things. Whereas nowadays you kind of catch up with something on Netflix or it's on demand or you stream it or whatever. It
was a simpler time, bro. It was a nicer time as far as I'm concerned. Like, you know what I mean?
I didn't get into it until season 5, which was around 2004, 2005. I think it was aired over here a little bit later. Yeah. And I remember watching, it might have been a rerun on Channel 4. And it was the episode where they have like a pool party for Carmela's dad's birthday.
Yeah.
And Steve Buscemi's in it as Tony B. And they're there. And I remember watching it thinking, this is fucking, I don't know what this is, but this is great. And then I was like, I looked up in the TV guide, it was Sopranos. So I just got the box sets from early. Yeah. Like of season 1, 2, 3 and 4. And I just binged it. I was like, oh my God, this show's fucking brilliant. Because I'd heard of it, but I wasn't really a person for sitting down and watching TV. Do you know what I mean?
I tried that with Lost. And like,
I remember watching the first couple of episodes of Lost thinking this is brilliant. Yeah. And then it just got bare confusing and I was like, no, it's long. But with Sopranos, it's not confusing.
It's not, bro.
It's quite a simple...
It's actually quite brilliant in the way that it's so simple because it's not just about the ins and outs of the mafia. It's also a lot about like psychotherapy, psychology and all that kind of stuff. It's literally
a story about a guy with depression.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, like when you break it down, like in any other given scenario, he's a depressed person who's going through therapy. It just so happens that he's also the head of the mafia in New Jersey. Like.
Do you remember that episode, where I think it was after he was shot by Uncle June, and he has that coma, and he looks at like how his life could have been, kind of thing, blah blah blah. But it's not that different.
There's an Instagram account called Kevin Finity, which is the name of the guy he was in that show, because he didn't know what his real name was. Head and that,
It's just bare jokes here, because like his life actually wasn't that different. He was still selling shit, blah blah blah, and he was still a scumbag.
Yeah,
but he's just not a mafia don, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like, the way we are, is that how we are? Can we change? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the type of questions that this show was like trying to answer before anyone else, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, I tried to get like a couple of my ex-girlfriends to sit down and watch it with me, and it's like, it was hard for them to get past, like, because like, let's be honest, like Sopranos is like doesn't like treat women very well. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's like, it's scumbag. So, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
also quite...
do you remember that episode where Ralph like beats up the stripper, bro?
Fucked up. Fully fucked up.
Bro.
That's right, you little hooer.
All of this over some dead hooer.
It's fucked. Like,
I know, isn't it?
But like, when it comes to that show's fucked when it comes to racism, when it comes to sexism, when it comes to like homophobia. Like, a guy gets murdered and gets a pool cue shoved up his ass for being gay. Like, yes, he goes on the run to New Hampshire.
I know, innit?
For the fact that he happens to be gay.
He's a come from behind kind of guy. Oh man, but yeah,
who's got AIDS? Nobody's got AIDS. Literally, the way they deal with issues like that,
I know, bro.
Like, even like when Meadow starts going out with the half black kid, that is fucked up.
I know, like that's the thing is, like it. I had so many mixed emotions watching it, innit? Because like even though like Tony Soprano is probably like one of my favorite characters in anything ever. Like, the fact that he was a prick, bro. He was a racist. He was a sexist.
Yeah.
He was like anything that like people get offended about en masse these days. He was that, innit?
Yeah.
But he was just played so freaking well, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's.
Can you believe Ray Liotta turned that role down?
He turned it down.
Ray Liotta was the main guy who they wanted for the role of Tony Soprano.
Saying that though, I'm glad they chose James Gandolfini.
Yeah, I am as well.
Yeah.
I think you needed someone of his size and stature as well. You needed a big guy to be that kind. I think that made the role so much more impressive, that whatever room he walked into, 9 times out of 10, he was not just the largest character in the room, he was the largest person in the room.
But the thing is with Ray Liotta, because I always think back to like, he was in Revolver, he was in like Goodfellas, etc., etc. I don't think he's that guy that plays like the mafia don. I think he plays that guy as part of the mafia that's a bit slimy.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he's, and I'm not saying anything about his like, clout as an actor or whatever, blah blah blah. But I just think that someone that looked like James Gandolfini, like that is Tony Soprano.
Perfect.
Do you know what I mean?
For it.
But in saying that, we don't know it.
No, you never know. Maybe it would have been brilliant, but I do think it was really, really well cast. And yeah, Paulie, the guy that plays Paulie, obviously he was, connected with the mafia and stuff.
I know,
and
innit?
Stuff like that.
I saw a like interview with him, and he was just like, the interview guy was like, "Oh, would you kill someone? Would you kill someone for money?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Why is it? I don't need the money." You know what I mean?
Fucking legend. The thing with Paulie as well, Tony Sirico, the guy that played him, he when he signed up for Sopranos, he agreed on one condition.
Paulie don't rat, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His character will never ever be a snitch.
Yeah.
I was like, I rate that still.
But saying that though, like, he flirted with it.
Oh yeah. He fucked things up with Johnny Sack and
bro, I'll tell you what, yeah. I might tell a lie. I said like Paulie and Sil were my favourite characters. It's not actually. It's Johnny Sack, bro.
Really?
I love Johnny Sack, man. I live for any time his voice just goes up an octave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it never fucking happened.
What is it he says to Chrissy that time? I remember when you used to sit in the car, and as far as I'm concerned, you should still be there.
Fuck she was just. Everybody got a goddamn opinion.
He fucking goes bananas.
I know, innit?
He goes literally from zero. He's the definition of 0 to 100.
I know, innit?
That guy would just get fucking Aggie out
But
of nothing.
do you know what I
Remember
like
the time
about
he was
him,
in the
though?
bar and the guy was having a drink and he beat the shit out of him and pissed on him.
What? Not funny anymore? Do you know what I liked about him though? Even though he was that way, yeah, like he was still a loyal guy, innit?
Yeah.
Like you know, like, bro. Let's be honest, yeah. Most people would have left Ginny Sack. You know what I mean? but he stayed with her, bro, and he was proud of her and that, which I thought was nice, innit?
Yeah.
Like and Barbie back Allah. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was nice because it was a nice like. At the end of the day, mafia dons or whatever, or even people in gangs, or even people who you think are just doing like some madness out here, they're still people. Do you know what I mean? Most people, like for example, like even like most like drug dealers or whatever, when they get enough money, they tend to buy things that most middle class people want.
Yeah.
You know, like a yard or like out in Essex or something like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was good to bring something like that in because I think we have this stereotype of what people are.
Yeah, the thing is it does kind of, it did a lot to humanize criminals in a sense, but at the same time, like that isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. It's also like when you watch certain shows, like you might watch like, I don't know, like a Top Boy or something, and you see the reality of what people's lives are, you realise that sometimes it's nature, not nurture. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like sometimes it's the other way around, you know? So it's like, you know, sometimes you're a product of your environment, and other times your environment's a product of you. Yeah. But, you know, like, it's all very well and good sitting in judgment on the mafia or sitting in judgment on this, and it's just like, if you're Tony Soprano, and you're born into a family where your dad and your uncle are running the mafia, what the fuck else are you going to be? Really? Like, what else are you going to be? Especially in the 70s, when no one's talking about feelings, no one's talking properly about education. You're from a poor neighbourhood, but, you know, you're on the come up or whatever. Like, of course
I want to rescue dogs. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Rescue dogs.
Yeah.
No,
like, what the fuck else was he going to be? Do you know what I mean? Always interested me, you know, that sort of family dynamic, and had he lived in a different setting, you know, what would he have been and stuff. It would be really interesting to watch that Many Saints of Newark.
I'm looking forward to it.
Obviously been delayed 3 or 4 times now due to COVID. I know Joey Diaz is in it. Yeah. And he was saying he had to go and do a couple of reshoots and that. But his son, James Gandolfini's son, obviously plays a young Tony, which would be really cool to see. I'm just interested in the story. I'm interested in where they go.
I'm interested in where they go with Dickie Moltisanti, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's always talked about it in the show.
And I love the fact that it's the people that made Sopranos. Like, I think David Chase and that. I love the fact that they're making the film, like, which for me is important because it needs to capture that essence of the show.
Well, that's it, bro. And like, I'm most things that I'm interested in is the performance of Livia.
Yeah.
Anthony, you know what I mean? like her freaking. Is it the same guy playing his dad?
So the guy who's playing his dad is the Punisher, Shane from The Walking Dead.
Down.
Yeah. He's playing Johnny Soprano.
Serious?
Almost certain it's him. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick, man.
Yeah, man.
But like, I'm really interested to see what they do with it, bro, because I think that is just gonna, you know, certain things like, you know, like remember when like Christopher kills that cop who supposedly shot his dad and blah blah. But it was always a bit ambiguous about that.
Yeah, you never really, because he did. I mean, it probably was the guy that killed his father, but he does say to him, he's just like, "You're being set up. He's lying to you. I never killed him." Blah blah blah.
Doesn't matter.
Even if you aren't the guy that killed him, they still want you dead. End of fucking story. Probably was, because you don't really think Tony would do him like that, but.
But then he did kill him.
Yeah, but then, do you know what's mad? Is like, even when you look at things like that, so if anyone who hasn't seen Sopranos, there's a character called Chris. His father got killed when he was a kid. And when Chris is a grown-ass man in his, you know, mid to late 30s, Tony, who's, you know, his sort of quasi-uncle, drives up to a restaurant where this police officer who killed his father is sitting in there. And he says to Christopher, that guy in there killed your father. Here's his address. And he goes and he kills him. And he asks the question, like, why the fuck, if you knew this whole time that this guy's the guy that killed my father, and my father was, like, you know, hooked up, he wasn't in the mafia, but hooked up with it, like, why is he allowed to be alive? He's like, because he's come in useful. Yeah. So they knew the whole time that this guy had killed one of their own, but because he was a dirty cop on the inside, he's come in useful for the last 30 years.
Well, that's it, bro.
And you've kept him alive. And now, because he's on his retirement party, literally the day he retires, they kill him. Like, that's mad.
Right, it's mad. Like, I mean, like, think for example as well, like, you know, when like Carmine Lupatesi and like and freaking Johnny Sack were putting hits out on each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And literally the only reason that like Carmine was putting a hit out on Johnny Sack was simply because of the Esplanade.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's like them being together for 30, 40 plus years.
Yeah.
But like this is worth about $30 million.
Yep.
And you're messing with it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, bro, it's bare interesting, man, to see like how like friendship can just break down over money. Because at the end of the day, like essentially what the mafia is just about making money.
Yeah.
It's a business at the end of the day. It's not the type of business where you get like health insurance and stuff like that. Well, sometimes you can, but it's like
you
know what I mean?
You get them no-show jobs.
Yeah, no-show jobs. Do you know what? I was actually talking to my brethren last night because he's into Sopranos as well. Did you understand what the no-show jobs were?
Yeah.
See, I never knew. He explained it to me, innit?
Yeah.
And I was just like, bloody hell, it's smart, bro.
Yeah.
It's so smart when you actually think about it.
You literally get a job role that you don't turn up to, but that job role gives you a legitimate income.
Exactly.
To cover your tax purposes. Like it's like Tony being the managing director of the waste consultancy business.
Yeah.
So it's a bullshit job. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the $100,000 a year that it brings in anyway. You know, he's got.
It's just something to put down on paper.
Literally, it justifies his health insurance.
Do you remember the episode when he did go to the office?
Yeah, he had to stay there for months, and then he's there just like. But these are the things that make me laugh about Tony Soprano. He's sitting there in an office. He's got fuck all to do, and he's like the guy Barone, Dick Barone, that comes in. He goes to him. He's like, "Oh, Tony, what are you up to?" And he's on the desk looking like he's doing something. He's drawing up a tournament for a basketball. For a basketball tournament for the guys who work there to play. He's not doing any work at all. He's like the managing director. He's like, "Oh, I'm creating a basketball tournament for the guy," but he says it with such pride as if I've achieved something because it's not the world that he lives in. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking funny. Some of the shit he's come out with over the years that, you know, as I say, when he thinks he's sounding intelligent, like,
I know.
or when he uses a phrase that someone else has used, and it's like, you know, the Virginia ham under your arm, but crying the blues because you got no bread. Like, he then just says, you got a Virginia ham under your arm. Like, he doesn't say the whole phrase, and it's just like, it's fucking
Or
funny.
even when he passes it on to the rest of them, like, you know, when like he was reading The Art of War, and like Paulie's about Sun Tzu. It's the Chinese Prince Machiavelli.
Some of those guys are thick as shit.
I know.
One of my favourite ones was when Bobby Bacala, when they're in the restaurant together. In that same episode where Chris kills the guy who killed his father, they're in the restaurant together and he goes, Quasimodo predicted all of this. And he goes, who? Quasimodo, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Nostradamus, Notre Dame. They're two different things. What, don't you think that's some kind of coincidence as well, though, that they both had the same name?
Oh,
like, it's just like, no, you fucking idiot. Like, Quasimodo predicted all of this. Like, it's fucking brilliant.
Oh, mate, it's so funny, bro. And the thing is as well, yeah, that like those little moments in the show, like, is actually what makes the show like so good.
Yeah,
Do you know
mate,
what I mean?
but that's the humanising aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, but everyone knows them people in life that come up with quotes that were never really said by someone,
exactly,
like,
bro.
or they just get something completely fucking wrong, and it's just like,
bro.
you're using a phrase that you really do not understand.
I know, innit? I'm not gonna lie, I've been guilty of it before, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure we all have.
I did English at uni, innit? So I had to come out with like some shit that I don't know, innit?
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Sometimes
Like,
you just got to wing it in life, man.
that's it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, no, some of the phrases in there, are just fucking brilliant.
Bro, speaking of like winging it in life, yeah, bro. Did you watch the Michael Chandler freaking?
We'll get on to a little bit of UFC, but before we do, just to wrap up the end of the Sopranos bit, favorite. I'd say favorite episode, but favorite episode and a couple of others that stand out. What's your favorite?
You know what my favorite is, bro? The one in Italy, bro.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, the one in Italy. Chris's intervention, and there's another one that I watch like all the time. Going back to it, the episode where Tony's in a coma, just because of how like psychologically thing that was.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
Yeah. What about yours, bro?
Chris's intervention was fucking brilliant.
Oh my days, bro.
Because they say don't be judgmental, and then I think it's Paulie just
You're
goes,
weak, you're out of control, and you become an embarrassment to yourself and everybody else. Fuck that. Let him take his medicine.
Because he says we're supposed to be non-judgmental. Fuck that. It's, yeah.
When I came in one morning, you had your head by the toilet sink. Your head was in the toilet water. disgusting.
They're supposed to be reading out things that have upset them with his behaviour, and he's just there calling him fucking, and you're a fucking embarrassment.
I know, innit?
It is so fucking funny. When she's just like, last week was the final straw when you killed our dog.
Whoa. You killed the dog. What'd you do that for? What was it, barking?
He accidentally kills his dog by sitting on it because he's high. And when she says it, their first immediate thought is, why the fuck did you kill the dog, as if it was deliberate?
I know. It's like, and even
God.
like if it was barking, like that was like a reason to kill it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Because the thing is that's how they think.
I know, innit?
Because they're such aggy guys that if there was a dog barking in their house, then they would just be like, fuck it, pow.
Funnily enough, yeah, my uncle lives in Italy. He lives in Parma. And obviously there's a mafia presence there, blah, blah. And he told me that one time he witnessed this. Like, there was a woman whose dog was just barking. They just came and shot the dog.
Fucking hell.
And they just said that he shouldn't have been barking.
Mad.
Bro, that's literally how they are, bro.
But it does show you that, though, in the episode in Italy, where, like, you know, things are just a bit wild over there with them. Like, do you know what I mean? When you see, like, Furio and people like that there. And
oh, bro, I haven't talked to you about this, bro. Like, speaking of Sopranos and speaking of Italy and speaking of Naples, yeah, have you ever watched Gomorrah?
No, I haven't. But
Do yourself a favour. Do yourself a favour, bro.
I've heard.
Honestly, bro, like during lockdown, obviously during lockdown, I was just catching up on bare stuff, innit? Like, my boy recommended Gomorrah to me, bro. Bro, honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's in my top 5.
Yeah, Dean's been going on about that for years, actually. He's always told me to watch that. But yeah, I think for me, though, favourite episode's probably Pine Barrens.
Yeah,
where they get stuck out in the woods
with the
overnight.
Russian.
Yeah, mate, it's just brilliant.
Yeah,
everything. I think it's been voted everyone's favorite episode as well. So it's kind of cliche, but if there's one episode of Sopranos to watch, it's probably just for the comedy value. It's probably that.
Put remote on docking station.
It's fucking the script in that whole thing is just fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
You'll never believe this. He killed 14 Czechoslovakians. The guy was an interior decorator.
His house looked like shit. Because that's the episode he kind of breaks up with Gloria as well. She throws a fucking roast beef at his head and stuff. Oh, mate, it's so funny.
Oh, mate, that episode was jokes, bro.
But yeah, it's there's that. I think one of the other ones is probably Whitecaps, which is the end episode in season 4, where he kind of finally breaks up with Carmela. Yeah. And she tells him that she's in love with Furio, and like he just goes bananas and starts punching the walls and breaking everything up. Like,
do you know what, bruv? Honestly, yeah, like, and I'm not just gassing it. That's probably like the most well acted like row I've ever seen. In my life, bro.
That scene in and of itself. That's why I say it's not necessarily my favorite, but I think it's the best. Yeah, I think it is the absolute peak of Sopranos. Is that end of season 4? It's like, wow.
But I've rewatched that a lot, you know. You know what I mean? Like, you know, just their rows. Like, you know what I mean? You know, when like what's his Russian girlfriend's name again?
It's not
Irina, isn't it?
Irina,
yeah. Irina, she calls the yard and that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the aftermath of that, innit?
Yeah.
Like, bruv, like Edie Falco like killed that scene, bruv. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely killed it. Like, it's literally how you would expect like someone to react to that. Do you know what I mean? It was so well acted. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's mad because she's gone through so many years of like turning a blind eye to him doing stuff, but then, you know, this woman calls the house and speaks to their kid, and it's just like, fuck, you know.
That's it, bruv. Like, bruv, can you imagine? Can you imagine coming home to that, bruv?
It's mad.
Bruv, you know, as soon as I was seeing my stuff coming out the window, I'm like, you know,
I'm calling his whole golf club.
I know, innit? I'm calling my cousin, like, bruv, I gotta come round, innit? You know what I mean? I'm doing this tomorrow, bruv. You know what I'm saying?
But the mad thing is it shows how fucked up he is, because he just comes in the house as if he's still going to stay there.
Yeah, I know.
He don't give a fuck.
Like, come on, what did I do? And you know what the worst thing is as well, yeah? Like, there was one part of it, yeah, where like, I think she must have found like a nail or something.
Yeah.
And he knew Wagwan.
Yeah, she left it by the side of his bed, didn't she? Yeah.
And he was like, that? Nothing. Do you know what I mean? Because he knew Wagwan and she knew Wagwan, innit? You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, he could never even argue that. He's like, what was the one thing he says to her when he was going into therapy, and he was just like, I'm only telling you this because you're the only person that I'm completely honest with. And she's just like, are you fucking serious? Like, you've literally just had more bits on the side than anyone could care to imagine, and it's just like, you're talking about how fucking open and honest. But yeah, I think Whitecaps the end of season 4 where they have that big bust up.
Yeah.
Is probably the best. My favourite is Pine Barrens. I just happen to know the names of the episodes, but so many great moments in that show. It literally, I say it all the time on this podcast. Like, if you've never seen Sopranos, the fuck is wrong with you?
Do yourself
have
a favour.
to watch it.
Do yourself a favour. Do you know, like, I was going through some financial hardship back in the day, and I had to sell my box set. It still hurts me, bro.
Yeah. Even though you don't really necessarily need them at all now.
I know, innit? But like, bro, like, there's certain things that I like to have in it, like all the Swords and Sandals films. You know, like Troy, Gladiator, like, you know, freaking Braveheart, all them ones. Yeah. I have all of them on DVD simply because they're films that I would literally watch again and again and again. So Sopranos is one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then obviously where, like, you know, you've got the streaming services now, it's like, it's not really necessary. It just takes up space and that. But like certain things that you want.
Yeah. And I used to have all the box sets, and at some point they've gone missing or they've been lent to people and they've never come back, or, you know, like all that kind of thing.
By the way, bro, if you're listening and know who you are, yeah, I gave you my The Wire season 1, first year uni, yeah, and I still haven't had that back, bro. You know what I mean? And you know who you are.
Fucking hell. There we go.
Bro, you know them ways there, you give someone something, yeah, like, or like they'll give it back to you and it's broken or something.
It's the Chris Tucker thing, isn't it? You ever lend somebody your shit and they keep it so long, you got to borrow it back?
I know. Bro, trust me, man. Like, that's why I don't give things away no more, man.
Yeah,
like, do you know what my granddad does? Yeah, my granddad's hilarious, bro. My granddad, literally, if I borrow something from him, he's got a black book that he writes down.
Smart man.
The what I've borrowed, the date I've borrowed it, and when he's expecting it back.
Smart man.
Do you know, like
a fucking library card.
Trust me, bro. Like, I must have borrowed a book from him when I was 14. This is going back 19 years, bro. And he still brings it up. So, where's my book then? And I was just like, my granddad, I don't know, innit? I don't know where that book is. And like, I don't know if it's in print anymore.
Principle of the thing, man.
Exactly, bro. Honestly, like, my granddad's hilarious, bro.
Fucking hell.
Like, bro, I was literally sitting, I was sitting there, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, you know what I mean? And I must have come in and he was just like, he was complaining about my uncles and my dad, innit? And he looked for his book, yeah? It's like, he's like, what's it called? He was like, hedge trimmer, borrowed, not returned. Step ladder, borrowed, not returned. You know what I mean? He's going off about 20 minutes just doing that, bro.
And then if you ask him, do you need them things? No.
But honestly, yeah, like my granddad just comes from a different like time, innit? Because everything that he has, yeah, is things that he still had when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Oils them up and everything.
And bruv, probably come from fuck all when I had to work hard to get that shit.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you know, I remember like when we was talking to Dean like back in the day, yeah, and he was telling me about like his family used to say like, it was better when the crays were around. You could keep your doors open. Blah. I was like, it's because you had nothing to fucking steal, bro. You know what I mean? You were living in poverty, mate.
I have that conversation with people all the time. People who turn around and say like all of that stuff about I used to be better back in my day and all this. Like when you talk to honest people that aren't making a point about immigration or something like that, and say, was it really? No, it was fucking shit.
It was shit. Do you know what I mean? No, it's fucking. It fucking wasn't nice. I like being able to have bread.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was going to say, if you look at pictures of people, the further back you get, the hungrier they look.
I know. They're fucking miserable, bro. But at least we were still together. I mean, no, you were fucking miserable, bro. You were together in your misery. Do you know what I mean?
You had no choice.
Exactly. You were together starving in that,
The reason you were together is because you had fuck all else to do.
Exactly, bro. It's bare cute, though, yeah, because I was working from home at my grandparents the other day, innit? Now, you think after like 55 plus years, there's fuck all to say to each other, innit?
Yeah.
They bare sit there and chat, you know.
Is it?
They just chat old stories and that, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there pretending to like work from home. I actually was working from home, just in case you're not listening, but like, working from home and that, yeah. And like, I'm pretending I've got my headphones in. I'm just listening to them and that, yeah. And they were just like, most of it is just bitching about other people, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's cute in that way, or just like there's still things to talk about. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because like to me, like obviously I used to live with them way back when, but I always used to imagine that when they're not at home, when I'm not at home, like they're just in like other rooms, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that sort of
stuff.
Like
a lot of people do still live when they get to them sort of ages.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So like, I'm blessed with to have them. I have my grandparents. Shout out to you, lot. You know what I mean? But yeah, fam.
It is nice. But yeah, we before we wrap up, we'll touch on a little bit of UFC. I woke up randomly, like last weekend or a weekend before, And yeah, I caught the co-main event, Benil Dariush, the dark horse of the lightweight division.
Bam.
Yeah, who I think is, I mean, his post-fight interview was just fucking weird.
Yeah. Like, they talk about Marxism and all that.
Yeah, like, mate, what the fuck is relevance got? Like, shut up. Like, but yeah, and his fucking Elon Musk fucking drama.
I know, it's like, you know when you're trying to be funny and just like, no, this ain't dropping, fam.
Just
You know what I
missed
mean?
completely.
It's like-
Like, he needed to do the Paulie and explain the joke again. To
Exactly,
see if people found it funny. But yeah, no, great performance for him.
Bro,
Really,
what's happening to Tony, man?
he's just falling off, bro. He's at 38, man.
I know,
you
but
you can't hit your peak at 38.
I know, bro, but you know, like, it makes you think, yeah, because obviously the fight that everyone wanted to see was Tony versus Khabib, like fucking Khabib. You know what I mean?
Khabib would fuck him. Like,
That's what I'm saying, bro.
For me, after Tony lost to Gaethje, the question was answered.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously before that, Tony was on this tear and he was still going through everyone and everything else. But, you know, Tony's never looked invincible. Like, Kevin Lee gave him trouble and Kevin Lee had staph infection. You know, Lando Venata gave him trouble when they fought. He looked brilliant against RDA and he looked brilliant against Cowboy, but it's not that difficult to look brilliant against Cowboy, really and truthfully, not at this time in his life.
Yeah, bro. He's like, as much of a legend as he is.
Anthony
done out here,
Pettis
bro.
dropped Ferguson 2 or 3 times when
Yeah.
they fought.
Yeah.
You know, like, mate, he's never looked invincible, whereas Khabib has always just looked entirely untouchable
Except
and invincible.
that fight that
The Gleison Tebow fight.
That's it.
That was close.
yeah, that
it was a
very,
closer
very
fight.
close. I mean, he still won.
Yeah.
Like if you within the rules of like
Yeah,
UFC, he won, innit?
But it was close.
Yeah.
But then again, it was also before Khabib was really like on a tear and, you know, like, but yeah, I think the question kind of been answered as to who would have ever won
Yeah.
that. I don't have any doubt. Like, I used to have doubt in my mind, even when Khabib was being, you know, the Khabib that we all know as being the most dominant fucking force ever. I still had doubt in my mind that he'd beat Ferguson because of the ground game.
Yeah.
In actual fact, to be honest with you, I think one of the only ground games that could have ever beat Khabib was probably Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation
Yeah.
for another day. That
I mean, to be honest, bro, like when it comes to Khabib, yeah, because I was just thinking about it the other day. Because you know, he like obviously used to struggle to make weight for lightweight, innit? So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a lot heavier than a lot of the lightweights. It's kind of like how I equate McGregor,
At
you know,
featherweight.
yeah, featherweight.
Yeah.
So do you think, yeah, that he would have been as dominant if he was like a welterweight or something
Yes.
like that? You think so?
Yeah, I think the only person that would have had a chance of resisting the takedown would have been Woodley in his prime. But, you know, as we saw against Usman, he took Woodley down at will. I think the mad thing is Usman versus Khabib will probably be the best fight you'll ever see in history, but they'll never fight each other.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, Khabib's, you know, retired, but even if he'd have stayed in, like, they're under the same banner, under Abdelaziz or whatever. But it
Do you know what? When it comes to Usman, yeah, in fact, when it comes to that whole division, I think we're actually quite spoiled and we don't realise how spoiled we are.
Yeah,
Bro, like,
massively.
Usman is a bad man, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he's a bad man.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And even though he's a prick, yeah, even Colby Covington's sick, bro.
Yeah,
Do you know
really
what I
great
mean?
fighter. Really,
He's a
really
great
great
fighter.
Usman versus Covington, their first fight was just incredible.
Yeah.
It was one of the fights of the year.
Yeah.
It's just a great fight.
Do you know what, though? What I do love about that division, yeah, is the fact that Masvidal can just talk himself into a fight.
Which is crazy, right?
You know what I mean?
It's just
because,
absolutely
like, bro,
crazy.
let's be honest, yeah. Like, did he really deserve another title shot? Of
course not.
Do you know what I mean? But he just managed to talk himself into it, which is
But
great.
the other thing as well is I think it was just a thing that Usman just wanted to prove a point.
Yeah.
But based on the shit talking, like he was like, okay, cool, motherfucker, I'll give you what you want, but
That's
you
all right,
know,
it's
you
all right,
got to
it's
learn
all right.
today.
And the thing is, he dismantled him as well,
Yeah,
bro.
big time.
Absolutely dismantled him. Like, do you know what I mean? I think, do you know what? Yeah, like I was talking to my brother because my brother, yeah, he doesn't really like UFC, innit? My brother's a boxing purist, and I find this a lot with boxing purists. Where it's like, oh, when it goes to the ground, right? Yeah, I mean, blah blah. But I was just like, nah. But when you actually watch it enough, because obviously you're only really going to understand if you do BJJ, innit?
Yeah.
But when you watch it enough and you start to realize why they do certain things, why they pass in a certain way, why certain guards are a bit more dominant, why, like, even though it looks like my man's struggling, he's actually like looking for little openings to go for an armbar or going for this or go for that, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, it's human chess.
Yep.
It's so intelligent and so ridiculously, like, because it's all technique as well, bro. When it comes to that ground game, I mean, obviously, like, ground and pound, different story, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it comes to the BJJ on the ground,
But,
bro, do
but
you know what I
even
mean?
ground and pound, you need to get yourself into a dominant position to be able to force your opponent down to even lay
Bro,
on.
do you remember the way Khabib used to, like, arch his back
the
when he used to come
posture,
up, and then when the way he used to come down, bro? Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, the force on that, bro. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy. But yeah, I've had this conversation before about boxing, the differences between boxing and MMA, and you know, I like boxing, but for me, it's one of them things that's so easy to understand.
Yeah.
It's like watching, you know, you can watch the Olympics And the one thing that everyone will always watch is the sprint.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a guy running from A to B.
Yeah.
Well, boxing is that guy punches, someone wins. It's so easy to understand.
Yeah, and
you can
it's only what, like 6 punches.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
You
mean?
can be a purist.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But don't give me all this nonsense about you're above MMA because you just don't understand it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you
bro.
can be a purist in boxing all you want, but don't make you no more intelligent than the average MMA fan because we have to
Exactly.
understand all of this shit.
Bro, you got to understand Muay Thai. You got to understand kickboxing. You
Yep.
got to understand wrestling. You got to understand freaking like
Jiu-jitsu. Yep. Sambo,
boxing,
judo,
sambo. Bro,
everything.
it's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, the reason that UFC is so interesting, the reason that MMA is so interesting in general is literally because it's closing the name, mate.
Yeah.
Mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Do you remember when like UFC first come out?
Yeah, yeah.
When it was literally just each style against each style.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now,
Oh, and what happened? The jiu-jitsu guy beat the boxer.
basically. but now, bro, if you're a UFC fighter and you don't have a mix of Muay Thai, wrestling, BJJ, and boxing,
Yeah.
bro, you're done out here, bro.
Yeah, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and Muay Thai is probably the three things that I would say you definitely need because you need to be able to kick, you need to be able to punch, elbow, and knee as well.
Yeah.
Wrestling's the key that everyone should have, I think, especially these days. And yeah, jiu-jitsu, because when things go to the ground, I mean, super high-level wrestlers, a lot of them will have submission, but they may not have the technical ground game that a high-level jiu-jitsu guys got. But a lot of wrestlers you get can control people on the ground. They don't necessarily need jiu-jitsu that much. But yeah, I think you need all of them things. But
Yeah, it's definitely, but bro, even in the
we kind of saw it in the main event on last week or whenever it was with Oliveira versus Chandler. You saw Oliveira go for the takedown and
Yeah.
Chandler went for the jiu-jitsu, which is mad. It was kind of like a role reversal.
I know,
kind
bro.
of
I
thing.
wasn't expecting that to happen.
No, I wasn't either. But that fight was crazy. I think it proved a couple of things, though. It proved that Oliveira can come back from adversity, which I questioned myself. But it also proved that Chandler belongs there. Chandler nearly finished him in that first round.
Bro, do you know what? Yeah, like I always get like a little bit suspicious. You know, when someone comes straight from Bellator to the UFC and then gets like a title fight almost straight away, bro.
Yeah.
The same thing with Ben Askren, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Chandler's a dangerous guy, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
he's
the
sick.
only problem with Chandler, yeah, which I think was his downfall against Oliveira, is because Chandler, you look at the way he's arching his back when he's throwing his punch, he's putting all his power into it.
Yeah.
Whereas like Oliveira is very, very, very
He was
technical.
he was
bruv.
kind of chin up as well.
Yeah. I mean, like, bruv, that fucking hook that he landed on Chandler, bro, that's probably the cleanest hook
From
I've
out
seen
of
in
nowhere.
a long
From
time,
out of
bro.
nowhere, just inside.
That's what I'm
just
saying,
check
bro. And the
hook, yeah.
technique, like, the range was perfect.
Yep.
The arch in his elbow was perfect. Everything was aligned, bro. Do you know what I mean? And it hit the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just
So
done
it's
him.
like,
There was no coming back from that.
No
if it had been
way.
at the end of the round, he might have recovered, but it was the first 5 seconds of the round, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah,
man.
crazy. New UFC lightweight champion. What happens in the lightweight division, though? Because obviously we've got McGregor, Poirier 3 coming up in July. It's going to be like, a massive talking point. There's
Yeah.
always going to be that fight. It's going to be the biggest card of the year, blah, blah, blah. The Conor McGregor situation, where do you see, first of all, like the lightweight division in and of itself is fucked at the minute because Gaethje really and truthfully deserves another shot at the title.
Yes, he does.
Or he deserves to at least fight the winner of McGregor Poirier. But then you'd imagine that McGregor Poirier, the winner of that, will be the first to get the title.
Exactly,
Gaethje's
bro.
kind of the forgotten man. He can't fight Ferguson because he's already beat him. He's probably not going to want to fight Dariush because it's a risky fight for someone who's ranked a lot lower than he is.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have to.
Yep.
He's kind of been the forgotten man. But with regards to, Poirier and McGregor and that fight, how do you see it going? Can McGregor turn back the clock somewhat? Because he's not exactly old. Age-wise, he is in his physical prime. Can he do it?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think he can, and I'll tell you why I don't think he can, yeah, because ring rust is a real thing, yeah. He hasn't been in the UFC for a while, and the last time he fought was against Cowboy, and he looked good against Cowboy, yeah, but at the same time
he looked good
as
against him
Cowboy.
for 40 seconds.
Exactly, innit? And Poirier has just been doing madness out here, bro. You know what I mean? He's been fighting consistently and that kind of stuff. So I can only see it going one way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it'll be that different to the second fight. But do you know who I've always wanted McGregor to fight? I've always wanted him to fight Gaethje, bro. But they'll never give him Gaethje, bro.
Yeah.
Because Gaethje will fuck him up. I tell you that now, bro. Like Gaethje's my guy, bro. You know what I mean? I like Gaethje. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really see Poirier losing that.
No.
And the reason I can't see Poirier losing that as well is because he's a completely different fighter from their first fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was that first. You got to think that first fight was years ago, bro.
I think for me, if Conor can't do it, I don't see where he goes from here.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
I like if he doesn't do it, he's done out here, bro.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what I mean? But then saying that, yeah, like, what are you thinking of the heavyweight division right now?
The thing is, it's mad. Like, if Jones ain't going to fight or they can't get the deal that he wants or blah, 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 I don't know what's going on with that. But it's got to be Derek Lewis. Like, Derek Lewis has to get the shot. There's nothing to say he can't beat Ngannou. But there's also nothing to say Ngannou won't spark him out in the first round.
Bro, do you know what? Yeah, like these Niger Donnies are just taking over the UFC, bro. You know what I mean?
It's from Cameroon, isn't it? But still, it's next door. It's fucking next door to Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's literally neighbours.
Making myself sound like a racist, you know what I mean? But yeah, bro, like Francis Ngannou. I mean, you know me, bro. We've spoken about this before because I remember when I first just as a caveat to everyone, like, you know, I used to watch UFC a little bit back in the day, but then he turned me onto it properly. Turned me to watch specific fights and specific fighters. I remember it was like you told me to watch Stipe.
Yeah.
You told me to watch the Gustafsson Jones fight. Yeah. And you told me to watch what's my guy, Damian Maia.
Oh yeah, I gave you a list of fighters to look up, didn't I? Yeah,
and I love Damian Maia. Do you know what? I still like in some way. You know, certain fighters like Damian Maia, Wonderboy. I love Wonderboy simply because they do have one style. Yeah. But it's effective. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But like...
Damian Maia was always that guy that you knew exactly what he was going to do, but you couldn't stop it.
You couldn't stop it, bro. Even Brian Ortega was like that for a little piece. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But, and I like Frankie Edgar as well. Like, Frankie Edgar's just my guy in it. But when it comes to the heavyweight division, I don't know why, but you know, like massive guys. Yeah. I don't know why I don't like watching it, bro.
I'm kind of the same.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like featherweight. Love watching featherweight. Yep. Love watching lightweight. Love watching welterweight. Middleweight, I can kind of deal with. Yeah. But it's just like, I don't know, bro. I just don't like watching like heavy guys. Cause it's all because like it's not all power.
It feels a bit clumbersome and silly. Yeah.
You know, like freaking like you remember that? Do you remember Rocky 3? Yeah, with like Clubber Lang in it. You know what I mean? You know, he's just advertising like freaking punches from out there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Hey, woman. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I don't know why. I just like heavyweight division just ain't for me, bro. Do you know what I mean?
No, but I think I was a massive Stipe fan. I was kind of a fan of him as a person. But yeah, he was so skillful as well. Yeah. So skillful. And the thing is, you have had a lot of guys like, you know, I mean, Velasquez kind of relied on wrestling and striking and his gas tank to win. But Verdum was like a jiu-jitsu specialist who then became a Muay Thai specialist. Yeah. There's been a lot of interesting things. But the thing is, when it comes to Ngannou versus Derek Lewis, which is looking like the most likely fight at the moment.
Puncher's chance, isn't it?
Mate, yeah, it's a brawl. It's a brawl for all. Like it's literally a slugfest. It's who goes out there and lands the first big punch, really.
That's it, bro. But that's the reason why I don't really like heavyweight division. Bro. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because it can all come down to power.
It feels a little bit less skillful than the rest of the divisions, yeah.
Bro, have you been watching Cody Garbrandt recently?
I haven't, no.
Cody's looking good, you know.
As we record, this podcast is going to drop on Wednesday, so fuck knows who's going to win that fight. But yeah, as we record this, tonight is UFC. Cody Garbrandt is fighting Rob Font. I wonder if I can pull the card up here, maybe do a couple of predictions and see if we make ourselves look like arseholes when Wednesday comes around. It's a couple of interesting fights. Jack Hermansson versus Edmund Shabazian. Obviously, Edmund Shabazian was on a massive tear at middleweight until he met, I think it was Derek Brunson. But, you know, everyone's kind of sort of plumbed in Shabazian as like one for the future. He's going to be future champion and stuff. And,
I think he will be.
You know, sometimes when you hear that, it's a bit like, meh, but with him, probably. It's a big fight, though, that is. Like, Jack Hermansson, I think he's lost one or two of his last couple of fights. He's overdue a win. We'll see how Shabazian bounces back.
I think Shabazian will win.
Probably. You've got another couple of fights on here that are of interest. I can never pronounce his name. Yan Xiaonan. She's the other Chinese fighter at strawweight that's not Weili Zhang. Yeah.
We got to talk about that in a minute, by the way.
She just looks like a savage anyway. She's going against Carla Esparza tonight, who's had some lucky decisions as of late, if you ask me. She's, you know, former champion, but she's never really going to reach those heights again. I'm going for Yan.
I'll go for Yan.
And then, main event, Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt.
Do you know what?
Interesting.
You see Cody, yeah? Like, you saw it in the TJ Dillashaw fights, both of them. and like a lot of his fights, he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
But his emotions get the best of him.
Yeah.
Definitely. But the last couple fights I've seen him in, but he's looked sharper than he ever has.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's looked faster than he ever has.
I can't remember if he's fought since he had COVID or not. That's going to be a big question mark for me.
I don't know.
When he knocked out a Sunsao, that was great, but I can't remember if he's had COVID since then or before then, because he was really ill. Like, he was bad. He was talking about it on a couple of shows. He was like coughing up fucking all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I can't remember if he had it before or after, but that fight against a Sansao,
the knockout was sick. Just a little dodge and bang. Yeah.
Bro, he basically did the Mark Hunt, bro. You know what I mean?
The walk-off KO, yeah. Yeah, man. Like, it's interesting. I'm a big Cody Garbrandt fan. Always have been. One of the most fun nights ever was watching him beat Dominic Cruz. Like, nothing against Cruz, but I just thought it was brilliant. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I'll probably go for Font just because I've just got a bad feeling about it. But we'll see.
I'm gonna say Garbrandt, man. I mean, do you know what, bro? Like, in fact, TJ Dillashaw's coming back, isn't it?
Snake in the grass, apparently, yeah.
Do you know what though? Even though he's a snake in the grass, he's a horrible person. Like, it's just like them man that you just want to, like, you wouldn't leave around your girl kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I love watching him fight, bro.
Yeah, no, he's a great fighter, talented. But for me, it just, when it's not like there was an argument about a tainted supplement. Like, he knowingly cheated.
Yeah,
like, went out of his way to cheat.
Yeah,
like that for me is just like, fuck you, bruv. Like,
my brother, you're a chief, innit?
Yeah,
like, you better cheated out here. You know, like, you look at Lance Armstrong now, and like, is his name Lance Armstrong? Yeah. Like my man, innit? Like my man on a bike here. You ain't about it, bro. You know what I mean?
There's before we wrap up, we've got UFC 263 coming up in a couple of weeks on the 13th of June. Massive card, including our boy Damian Maia fighting Bilal Muhammad.
Oh,
yeah, which is an interesting one.
Ooh.
Obviously, we all feel really bad for Bilal with what happened with the Leon Edwards fight and stuff. So I don't want to see him beat Maia because I've loved Damian Maia for years. But I think he will. You've also got Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz on that card as well.
Do you know how long I've been waiting to hear Nate Diaz is on a card?
That was supposed to happen last week. He was supposed to be on there, but it's been moved forward because I think Diaz had like a minor injury or something. I feel like Leon Edwards is going to knock him spark out.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think Leon Edwards is going to knock him spark out.
Do you know what? It's again unconscious bias, but it's like it's my unconscious bias towards the Diaz brothers. You know what I mean? Well, I love them guys, bro. But I like Leon Edwards as well, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think, I'm going to go for Edwards, innit?
Co-main event, Davison Figueiredo, the flyweight champion, in a rematch against Brandon Moreno. Anyone who saw their first fight,
bruv,
fucking hell,
bruv, like definitely one of the fights of the year kind of thing. But like, that.
Figueiredo's just looking invincible though, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. But then Moreno's heart is just ridiculous. But I don't know. I'll probably say Figueiredo will beat him again. Yeah,
I will, just because I feel like he's just a slight level above the rest of the people at flyweight. But yeah, don't be surprised if Moreno pulls it out of the bag either. But and the main event on that card, Israel Adesanya versus Vettori. I think we're looking at a big upset.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Vettori is going to be a problem.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
Do you know what? Yeah, like what I learned from the I can never pronounce his name. You know, Jan Blachowicz. How do you say his name?
Jan Blachowicz. Yeah,
Blachowicz. But what I learned from that fight, is that if you don't give Izzy time, it can be a problem, innit?
And Vettori didn't give him time the first time they fought, and there was an argument that he won that fight. It was a very close fight. So what I'm saying is Vettori's improved since then. He's gone on a win streak. He's looked dominant pretty much most of the time when he's fought. And as much as people don't like him, I think that people let that cloud their judgment as to how good he actually is.
He's very good.
Doesn't look great. Not the most entertaining of fighters, but very effective, as we were saying earlier. And yeah, I said it in a WhatsApp group the other day. I said to people, I was like, I see an upset here. Oh, fucking no. Okay.
Well, no, do you know what?
Just remember I said it.
People ride a hype train to anything, innit? But
of course.
With Izzy,
what my thing is it psychologically, is it too quick of a turnaround from his first loss?
That's the only thing I would think about.
And I know he's lost in kickboxing, and I know but he was trying to make history. It was a big deal. He went up and he did all this stuff and talked all this shit and blah, 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 and fell on his face. So it's like...
Sure, ratings for him for doing it.
100%. 100%.
Because you know what we were talking about earlier when I said, like, you know, Khabib isn't a natural lightweight, but he used to struggle to make weight. Whereas, like, Adesanya did something different in the sense that he was at his natural weight and tried to go up, bruv. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Facing guys who are naturally a lot bigger than him.
Yeah, and the size difference between him and Jan, height-wise, it wasn't much, but Jan's like thick.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, Jan is like a fridge, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But yeah, bro, I'm going to go Adesanya just because I'm being biased.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think we're looking at an upset. But yeah, man, that should be a big one. Obviously, 264 is Poirier versus McGregor, and
you already know what I think.
Yeah, and 265 is Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena.
I don't ever bet against her.
Don't see anyone ever beating
Amanda,
the point? To be honest. Our boy Jared Cannonier is booked up for a fight apparently in August against Paulo Costa.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's booked in for August apparently.
I want Cannonier to win that.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jan Blachowicz, he is fighting in September's pay-per-view 266. Which would be against Glover Teixeira. So, interesting.
Teixeira is a good fighter.
And there's a recent article here, which I won't click on because it's from The Sun, and fuck The Sun. But
fuck The Sun.
The headline says, Dustin Poirier predicts Conor McGregor will use his own brutal calf kicks against him at UFC 263.
Which is a big possibility.
264, rather. Yeah.
That's a big possibility.
The reality is McGregor... This is the thing, right? Is where... I'm in a little bit of doubt about Poirier winning is just what McGregor did against Diaz. Was that he went in there thinking he could do this, that and the third. He got shown up. He went away and he literally said, he's like, let me go away, train specific camp for the fight I'm supposed to fight. Because he took it on short notice. Let me go away and do it. Let me make the adjustments and I'll prove to you that was a fluke. And I don't care what anyone says. McGregor won that second fight.
Me and you have argued about this a lot. We've argued about this a lot, innit? Like,
I'm not saying it's clear cut,
yeah,
because it isn't. But for me, if you're scoring it, and this is the caveat, if you're scoring it how UFC fights are scored, which is round by round by round, then McGregor won that fight.
Yeah, and I don't disagree
because
with
he
you.
won round 1 and 2 convincingly, and he knocked. Probably, in my opinion, he won round 4. And he said that himself straight after the fight. He was still, if you look at the footage, he says it to Kavanagh. He was like, yeah, I got 1 and 2 and the fourth, I think we got the fourth. And they were like, yeah, you probably got the fourth.
Yeah.
Diaz undoubtedly won the third. The only argument for a draw would be as if you gave that as a 10-8. It was a dominant round and McGregor was exhausted and he looked like he could have been finished. But doesn't hit the deck, whereas Diaz is down like 3 times in the second round, he's down in the first round. So it's like, if that's a 10-8, is that a 10-8? There's arguments there. And then obviously Diaz, it was close in the fifth, but Diaz got a takedown in the last couple of minutes, probably did get the better of the striking, so he probably took the fifth. So for me, if you're scoring it round for round, then if you're asking me who looked more like finishing the fight, probably Nate in that third.
But the thing is with Nate, and not with Nate, with McGregor actually. Now, this is not going to be in terms of like how they score it and stuff like that, because they score it completely differently to what I'm saying, isn't it? But you know, like for example, when you've knocked someone down, he's telling you to calm down, then, bro, calm down.
Yeah, he was,
and you don't calm down. Like, in terms of what a fight actually is. Now, I know that we're talking about a sport here, but in terms of what a fight actually is, are you not going to go down, bro? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like, because like me and my brother had this argument. Yeah, he said that like the fighters back. We're talking about boxing here. The fighters back from before we were growing up and when we were growing up were warriors, and the fighters today are sportsmen. I was like, bruv, you can't say that, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand why he's saying it, for the same reason I'm saying that like McGregor probably should have gone down, but he didn't because he's a sportsman at the end of the day, blah. But they're fighters, but they're sportsmen. But he said like, the way Mayweather fights isn't fighting. I was like, bro, how can you say that, bro?
Yeah.
How can you say that, bro? Like, fighting isn't just bish bash bosh, like banging a man out. Like, even like, if you were to equate it to like the art of war, I'm gonna do a Sopranos here, innit? You know what I mean? Sun Tzu. But war isn't won on the battlefield all the time. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's the terrain that you choose.
Exactly.
Like what you let the enemy know, blah, blah, blah. So there's all those caveats to it. And you can't really say that Mayweather ain't a master of that.
Yeah.
You can't ever say that. Like, bruv, the guy's unbeaten.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to go 50 plus fights unbeaten. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But in terms of going back to my point, if you look at it from my brother's point of view, then you could probably say that, McGregor didn't win that fight. But if you're looking at it from the sports point of view, he won. Do you know what I mean? That's where me and you have always argued about this, bro. You know what I'm saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's always been at one point.
I hear it. But yeah, for me, like, in terms of the UFC rules and the way things are scored, for me, he won that fight. So yeah, that's the only thing that does me is can he go away, make the adjustments and everything else. But we shall see. It remains to be seen. Gonna wrap up because just got a message that someone's waiting for me down the road.
Okay.
And
just before we do wrap up, I want to say, Arteta, you made me bite, innit? You fully made me bite. I was fully on you, bro. You know what I mean? That FA Cup, you fully made me bite, bro. I was backing you, and like these. I'm sorry, like I love Arsenal, but you're you're tearing me apart, man. Tearing me apart, bro.
Mate, I could get into a massive conversation about football, but that's for another time.
That's for another time, bro.
Mate, thank you for coming down and sitting down and talking about everything that we've covered. It's been a laugh anyway, just to catch up.
Yeah, definitely, man.
But yeah, once again, what's the name of the place that you're working for now, and how can people contact them?
Yeah, it's Fair Money Advice. You can go to the socials. We've got Instagram at Fair Money Advice. You can go search us in Google. You can always come up from through there. You can either go through Citizen Advice, get referred to us, or you can refer yourself and things like that. It's just if you need help with debt, there are ways to get past it. I know it's a big thing that affects a lot of people. So there's help out there. And the thing is the other thing I want to say as well, you having mental health problems is not always a thing where it's like, something that you shouldn't speak about, because at the end of the day, as a result of you speaking about it, there are things that can actually happen to get your debts taken away, written off, or giving you some breathing space and stuff like that, so you don't have to suffer. So you shouldn't have to suffer in silence. So if you want some help with your debts, go to @FairMoneyAdvice, at us, call us, you know what I mean? We're here to help and all that kind of stuff.
All good. Episode 14 wrapped up now, Over the Hill podcast. Don't forget, guys, to follow and subscribe on Spotify and iTunes. We've also launched a YouTube channel, so search for the Over the Hill podcast on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on there. You can go back and watch past episodes. You can't watch this one, though, because there's no camera, because we're both actually sitting here in our pants, funnily enough.
Yeah. He's putting me to shame, he is, you know what I mean?
Well, just for the gut size.
Obviously, mate, obviously, come on.
But yeah, mate, thank you once again for coming down. Episode 14 of the Over the Hill podcast with myself and Raphael Caldeira, over and out.